We love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a
Mic check, it's about the time to drop another blazing jam for some rhyme. My child just fell, wait, that's your intro. Reporting live from the trenches, trying to get away from their window. How the fish and wildlife not have a story to tell about the check-in, but not out. Total sanctuary, ropes, motels, fully decked out with little people in the walls. Pokemon rocked up edition, you gotta smoke them all. Allegedly, it's that umbrella guy. Mike dropping that gavel line up in knee replacement. This one's about to turn to gravel. Laughing at these punchlines, just trying to maintain. Platinum grill, iced out, conducting this stupid cash trade. Yeah, that umbrella guy, reporting live from the hat rack. You try to shell me twice, but where's your impact? Wandering the Shire, dreaming up your master plan. But a low red column will never silence this man. One ring to rule them all, one ring to bind. But snatching up the mic, no, you can't bind them with your empty lines and your empty promises. Stranded in Ohio, missing dead Thomases. Say two, mic check, it's that army of one. BSF for John Foreman, Dixie, please don't leave food in the sun. Yeah, now that you're not a nice person, it's entered the fray. Where even the judge in Ohio can follow anything you say. Hey, from a guy with laugh tracks, real as your lies unravel. The only way your story works is if we can all time travel. Sending packets to court, thinking this can't fail. Underestimating the takedown of this verbal hammer on even the bravest nail. Speaking real, I got an observation. How you sleep at night with all those false accusations? Do you ever reflect on the lives all in this game? We pretend no family, no friends wasn't worth the cost in the very end. It's that umbrella guy dropping in every song, so millions of others can laugh and sing along. You say you never posted as an admin, a minute's time, but the handwriting expert says, yeah, that's your lie. That umbrella guy with the big bad wolf conjuring sound, bringing in a hurricane to take off Piggy's town, standing with the Hales as they fight this fight, knowing in the end they're doing what is right. You'll never win.
Oh, never, baby. What's up? How's it going today? Oh, man. Whoop. I was trying to pull up the chat real quick, and it pulled up some freaking short. It was like, the girl something, and I didn't catch the rest. I was like, whoops, that's not what I was looking for. That's not my chat. What's up? What's going on, folks? Man, what a fascinating last few days. You know, we have actually seen Mr. Hales get himself a win we were told wouldn't happen. We heard over and over again that those that super lawyer had come in and he was totally going to get this stuff. Remember all that talk about dismissal? How it was just going to fall? It's going to fall by the wayside, and there was no way Jeremy could ever win anything. Yeah. Weird how that didn't work out. Oh, man. We're going to have to look at some stuff today for sure. We're going to look at Megan was nice enough, by the way. Megan Fox was nice enough to take the motion to dismiss and kind of, well, really smash it into something more ingestible. So we're going to look at that a little bit. We're gonna look at Jeremy's nice win, as in this didn't just fall by the wayside. In fact, a judge decided, yeah, we're not only gonna go forward with this, like we were told that wouldn't happen. Remember, can't happen. Oh, this is gonna be an easy one, right? Not so easy. Not so easy. Man. I hope everybody's doing great, by the way. It is a lovely Friday. Man, good day to have talk about a win, too. Now, this information came up last night. We actually had a great interview last night, too. If you missed it for some reason, you should definitely go in and check it out. We talked to Patty. You know, that was it was fascinating to get everything all together in one interview, I thought. And today we have this. Now, Megan was nice enough, like I said, to go in and kind of, well, here, let me pull this up. So we have we have what kicked all of this win off, okay? And here we are. Let me pull this up for you, okay? So remember, we had all of this kicked off with a motion to dismiss based on jurisdiction. And yeah, like Megan noted, again, here we have, look at this legal argument. It's great. What? Why? Why? Very stunning, very stellar, very presentable. So many facts. Man, very convincing. Oh my goodness. That was moving. Yes. That one, there was basically, now again, to be fair, you'll notice at the top of this, and again, when they get whiny about this, and he's like, oh my God, I'm going to shoot somebody. Well, remember, Megan wrecked you again. Oh my God, oh, so beautiful. Very, very good strategic legal argument. I like that one, like I said. But there's 9 pages of wah. But again, I thought that was a very good summary of everything that was said there. Nice and straight to the point. Now, what did Judge have to say about the wah-wahs? Well, we have the long version and the short version. Let's go with the, give me 1 second here. Let's pull up the short version first. Then we'll pull up we have the long version as well. Now, this, again, just want to make sure everything, this was signed off on today. So, yeah, when you're talking about, give me 1 second here. All of this stuff, it was, give me 1 minute. I got to roll up. You actually had signatures added to everything with reports and recommendations. Here, let me show you. Like, you've had a lot of stuff come up. Let me see if this is the right one. God, it takes me forever to roll through all this crap. This is usually, like, I have everything, like, laid out. It's so easy to get to. But so much stuff. I mean, it's just everywhere. There's so much crap. You have, here we go. So check this out. Here we are. We're going to have breakdowns of everything. Actually, let's go through the breakdown first. I like this, actually. I'm going to go through the 16 wonderful pages, reports and recommendations, and then we'll do that. I think that's actually, it's more telling. It's more dignified. Give me a minute here. All right, here we go. Now, this stuff is fascinating, too. Because like I said, you know, you have the federal case is interesting because of You got to remember there are three cases, first of all. If you get confused in all of this, this bucket of stupid, you have the cases that Stark, Lower and Iron Man, and Brucey Bruce have brought. And you also have the federal case that's going on. So you actually have quite a bit. Let me like this. Now, as far as this, with recommendations and your report, like this stuff is actually quite fascinating. Why? Well, and we had this signed in too today. So I actually have a signature page for that too. So just a note, everything is good to go. So reports and recommendations. This matter is before the court on defendant's motion to dismiss for its lack of subject material jurisdiction. Now, plaintiff has responded in opposition, and for this reason, defendant's motion should be denied. Now, again, we were promised that this would just be kicked right out on the road. Remember that? I mean, you remember that, right? It's going to be shoehorned right out of there. Now, for the background, you can read over this with me. And again, you can see exactly what is agreed to and disagreed to. There was a lot of pages to this, by the way. Oh, by the way, let me give some love real fast too. Max Lab, thanks for the 2 there. Tug, did you get my email today? Did indeed. Got that sitting there. Sandra, thanks for the gifted membership too. Starting these off, you guys, and thank you. And Fallen Hero also, thank you for the super chat there. Always, thank you, my friends. So, background: plaintiff makes a living through the use of social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Now, according to the plaintiff, and this is actually, again, this stuff is very easy to fact check. Talking about the What the Hales platform. According to him, he has over 700,000 subscribers. I wonder where he is right this moment. Let me check his channel. I'm curious, what the number is exactly right this moment. I haven't checked it in a few. I think that's one to keep up with. So let's look. What the hales? Let's see where you at. So 722,000 currently showing. And again, it doesn't give us the round off there. Remember, that's one platform, by the way. So, I mean, when you get into that, like for myself, for example, we talk about YouTube numbers a lot, but like Twitter, for example, for me, I got 155,000 followers on it. So, yeah, I mean, if you're talking about followers and follower size, I mean, you get into some massive numbers. 700,000 is nothing to scoff at either. Now, in this lawsuit, plaintiff alleges that defendants have engaged in a public campaign to defame, to extort, and to threaten him. Now, some of the things, I think I heard a door there. Give me 1 second. There's going to be a statement right off the bat. I don't want any little ears picking up on. Yes, what do you got? Here, bring it to me real fast. You can't hear this one tonight, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's this?
Yeah, here, bring that to me.
What's this?
That is a corkboard model. Here.
That reminds me of the house.
Yeah, it's the earth. It's a corkboard earth.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
you, Daddy. You make me so funny.
Yeah, you think
You're
that's
so
funny?
but you do push-ups.
I do push-ups. Is that what you said?
No, I said,
Come here.
you don't do jokes.
Oh. There you go. Yeah. You like the jokes? Is that what you were saying? All right, take that upstairs. There you go. She wanted ice pop. It's our end of the day ice pop, right?
It's the day.
Yep.
Ice cocktail.
That's right. All right. Love you.
Love you.
Love you. I'm waiting for the door to close. Then we get into this one. For the allegations that are listed, because there's some pretty awful stuff here. And again, yeah. Remember, they were trying to kill this thing outright. So defendant's conduct has allegedly included such things as displaying signs that refer to plaintiff as an arpist who let's say, ARPed my daughter. Ooh. Defendant Cook has also allegedly made social media posts threatening to post pictures of him receiving a little bit of the oral from plaintiff's fiance. Defendant Cook has also allegedly pulled a pew-pew on plaintiff and threatened him. It is further claimed that defendant made online defamatory statements about plaintiff in an effort to harm his social media business. Now, you see that laid out pretty well. Like again, I find it fascinating that when people bring up, again, the ARP claims, for example, like there are people out there that are like, that wouldn't make me mad. I would just go about, really? Like that, from go, that has bothered me. Because there are people out there that, again, they're not being truthful in that matter. You know what I mean? There is no truth whatsoever in that matter. If somebody made that claim about most people, they wouldn't take it well at all. Why? Because that's not like I've said before, that's not insulting a person. It's not calling them fat or calling them stupid. It's resulting in trying to ruin their lives. 100%, and it will ruin your life. By the way, John, thanks for the 5. Anyone else old enough to remember the Herbie movies? I saw those on some channel recently. I'm going to start saying 53 when Bomb Jackson and she jumps into stream. Love bug. Yeah, she's funny. That's funny though. I saw those. I didn't watch them at the time, but I hadn't thought about them in a long time, and I saw them. I can't remember. By the way, I hope you and your wife are doing well. Much love to you all. So the complaint, it asserts that there is a federal subject matter jurisdiction based on diversity of citizenship and the existence of a federal question. In support of the assertion of diversity jurisdiction, plaintiff claims to reside in Summit County, Ohio, while he claims defendant resides in Levy County, Florida. Plaintiff seeks damages in excess of $75,000. Now, I'm going to say that damages very well have probably... I don't feel like I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that damages in excess of $75,000 have been done. That is important as part of your lawsuit. I would say that they had definitely been done. You know, when you're talking about the amount of expenditure, amount of loss, I bet when you look at channel earnings, money that's been forced out, I bet you were talking about just amounts of money. I can't even imagine. Like, it has to be pretty bad, though, I would imagine. And then you have these... the little hate boner channels that have popped up where her lawyer sits on, by the way, which is fascinating to me because, again, you know, they can talk, although it is interesting. I did find this fascinating to have people report that they were asking, if I'm understanding it, they can set this right as well. They were asking for donations in like gift cards and cash apping. Are you trying to get around indigent status? Is that what it is? Is that why you're sending money through other people? Gifting over gift cards? That seems kind of shady. Like shady as fuck when you get down to it, just to be honest. You know, because we just had claims of indigent status, and yet, you know, there's requests for money, requests, let's give her a day out, let's give her gift cards, let's give her this. How does that work? How do the two work together? Fascinating, right? So anyway, after being served with a complaint, the pro se defendant filed a current motion to dismiss. In the motion, they argue that dismissal is warranted for the lack of subject matter jurisdiction under Rule 12b-1, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. More specifically, they argue that there is not a complete diversity because plaintiff and defendant both reside in Florida. in support of their argument that plaintiff resides in Florida and not Ohio, defendants have provided screenshot showing that plaintiff is registered to vote in Levy County, Florida, and they have submitted affidavits stating that plaintiff has, quote, been continuously living in Otter Creek, Florida for at least 6 months prior to the date of the affidavit. Defendants also argue the $75,000 amount in controversy has not been met. Really? Do tell. By the way, I'm going to give love here every time they come up. Wanda, what's up, Wanda? Thank you, welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tug Thugs. Appreciate you. Thank you. Rye, thanks for the 2. JH, armed her daughter. Where's the police report? They're just the claims there. You know, it's so nasty. Like, if you can imagine. They tried to play the you don't have any proof that they wrote those signs, do you? I mean, it was so nasty. You know, those they really went out. Oh, no. You don't have any proof. You can't prove that they actually did that. Well, you know about that. I mean, it's like, yeah. Again, if somebody was spreading around insane rumors about you doing something like that, don't you think I wouldn't be mad? I would be infuriated. I would be absolutely infuriated. I wouldn't. There's no way I would stand for that. Ugh. Anyway, Wanda, also, thank you for the super sticker there, too. I saw that roll in. Thank you. Such grossness, though. Now, plaintiff, of course, he disagrees. He argues he's a lifelong resident of Ohio, although plaintiff admits to owning property in Florida. He asserts that he only periodically stays in Florida and considers Ohio to be his home. Now, in support of that argument, plaintiff has provided a copy of his Ohio's driver's license, his Ohio property tax records, his Ohio vehicle registration papers, his Ohio utility bills, federal income tax return showing an Ohio address, and an order of protection from an Ohio court preventing defendants from coming within 500 feet of the plaintiff. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Isn't that fascinating to be added in, by the way? You know, we have all of this. And by the way, you know, on top of that, we have this little paper that refers to the folks themselves. What is that? Oh, yeah. 1 second here. I'm checking something real fast. Somebody noted sending something. I wanted to see what that was. Oh, my goodness. Oh my God. Hey, what are you doing?
I am I what's like this? And Sissy door. And Sissy was not taking care of me. And my summer was doing something one step. Yeah.
Well, why don't you go play with Sissy then?
Sissy's not taking care of me.
I'll tell her she should paint with you and try out that new kit. You know, the new play
Take
kit.
the lady present, put it on, and I just wanted to watch TV. It's my mom.
Okay.
Looks like she was like mom.
Okay. Whoa. Watch out, you hit the phone off there. Be careful. Don't trip over that. There you go. She got a new paint kit. That's what we're talking about real quick. I heard it come in, so I was reading something real quick there. Oh my God. This is funny. I've been It's funny, like Bruce is out there. He's like, they're spinning this as a big win. Oh, they're such monsters. It's so funny. How can they do that? It's so funny, though. He's like, what we managed to do is we managed to tie up the litigation for 5 whole months. So really, it's like, man, DB extraordinary, yeah. We really won because we lost, but it took 5 months for us to be losers. It's like, holy shit. So the next time I run a race, I'll make sure to run really, really, really slow, because even though I would lose the race, as long as I make the race take as long as earthly possible, I still really won. It's like, are you kidding me? Oh my God. Statements like that, I mean, when you look at that too, what this sounds like to me is somebody trying to bleed another person financially. And it's crazy to say, you know, there are unspoken parts in life, in law, that you don't really usually say out loud. You know, like you're trying to do damages and you're trying to cause problems. You're trying to eat up 5 months of their lives, which, isn't that yet more of the same kind of bullshit? But what I know, right? What I know about that. Double whammy! Fun times. Janice, thanks for the 10 there. Rightfully is, they're trying to flound an 8-foot fence for lying out in front of a property. Levy County says 4 feet is the max. They're so stupid. Only one person gifted a fence panel. Huh. Maybe that's, Who's collecting the money? Are they gifted through are they gifting it to a contractor themselves? Is it provably for exactly that? Are we talking about, again, paying in gift cards? Are we talking about actually money going straight to a contractor? Are we talking about putting that money through a third party? You know, a lot of questions spring to mind about all of that stuff. So he goes through another party, and you have no fucking clue. Oh my God, man. Yeah. I mean, apparently GoFundMe's been popping up like. They've been, it's like a herpes outbreak, you know? Look at those GoFundMes! It's like, holy God. Yeah, we see them. We see them. I have a screenshot. I'm like, oh my God. It's amazing to me. Oh, it is. And you know, the key part to this, the thing that really gets me, it's not the money. Like, if people want to give their money, they give it for whatever they want. The thing that really gets me, first of all, is it going to where it's supposed to? But also on top of that, they call other people like a Jeremy, for example. They say he's a grifter that has been grifting off his neighbors. Yet isn't that exactly what those people have done? And the money goes through another party and passes through. Haven't they made themselves indispensable as part of this? And not only that, but again, how is that income being reported? I mean, like again, when filing for a status, how much money has been coming in? Because people have been apparently gifting money for all kinds of things. It's just so many questions. And like I said, you can do whatever you want with your money. But it's fascinating that, you know, they keep saying that Jeremy Hales is some kind of monster grifter that has been utilizing her when, how is she making money? Is she making money off of her own name? No, there's a narrative that's been promoted about Jeremy Hales being some type of... What was that they said? A bad neighbor reality script? Isn't that the wording that they were using in lawsuits? And yet they're making money. They're asking for money for all types of things directly based on that. It does seem kind of, doesn't it? But again, what do I know, right? I'm confused, probably, right? By the way, Janice, thanks for the 10 there. So the crotch feeds are collecting the money and funneling to her. The people donating the fence panel bought it through Lowe's. There's no contractor involved. Are they buying fence panel directly? Or are they paying? I'm just curious about this before I move on, because I kind of want to understand how this works. So are they buying fence panel and having it delivered or so? I don't know. Because, there's a few ways this could happen. And, yeah, I would like to see it, to make sure, again, will it end up on a fence? I mean, fence would be great. It would be absolutely great. I'm sure that Mr. Hales would like that eyesore across the road to not face. I'm sure he wouldn't want to deal with that. So I think that would be a win-win if people actually wanted to do it. Now let them do it if they want to. Well, like I said, I'd want proof of where it went. But anyway, I digress. Let's continue. So the plaintiff disagreed. He brought in all of this, including the Ohio court's order of protection. And an affidavit. By the way, they've been saying that they're going to knock out the Ohio protection order too. That's been another talking point too. I forgot about that one. Yeah, they're going to knock that one out apparently. Like I said, people send me all kinds of crazy stuff. And apparently that's part of the long-term plan. Oh, they're going to go after the Ohio protection order. It's like, wow. I mean, the Ohio protection order. Why? Because, well, that's a good question. Why not just stay away? The easiest way to knock it down would be to just buck off. But, I mean, then, how does that grifting work, right? Again, everybody gets called grifters unless they sit on, you know what, I make money. Yes. I make money based on a channel that I run. We run independent stories, and this one's a crazy one that we talk about here. But it's fascinating, I'm not like, donate to Jeremy Hales, funnel money through me. I'm his lawyer. None of that shit. Fuck all that. If you decide that you want to pop up here and listen to me ramble about something as kids interrupt and everything else, appreciate you. But it's fascinating. And like I said, instead of talking merits of cases, there's been doxing, going after witnesses, interjection in fucking in every facet of people's lives, just in absolute insanity with it. I think I've got another kid writer.
Guess what made for you close it.
Okay, well here, I'll close it up. Here, close it like that. Actually, you can't close it back up. You can close it. You'll throw it in the garbage for me though, okay?
But it's cute without you keeping
it. I keep it? Okay, I'll keep it. Hey, go draw in your new book though. Go check that out. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Love you too. She brought me a present. She brought me a crap present. That was nice of her. Suzanne, thank you for the 20 there. Yesterday, our GoFundMe had over $300. I looked again today. It started back at 0. Showing it was started one day ago. New one? No way. She got a $5,000 goal. Yeah, that's kind of weird. It would have to be reset or something then. You know, I'm not sure what happens, like take money out and restart. I'm not sure, you know. I haven't looked at how to restart a GoFundMe over and over again or anything like that. So I'm not sure exactly how that works either. Oh, so many questions on that too. Hey, Elizabeth, by the way, thank you for the super chat there. Appreciate that. And Janice, thanks for the 10 here. Let's see, Lynette has no privacy fence, right? That's true. She has the thing. Well, oh, what is this, ramen?
Hey.
Is this ramen?
Crushed up ramen.
Crushed up ramen? Yeah, let me crush it. It's going to be loud. Let me move it right here, okay? I know you like ramen, too. I know, that's loud. I'm going to mute 1 second. I'm sorry, people. 1 minute. 1 minute. All right, sorry. I had the loudest thing in planet Earth. I was like, I can't make you listen to that. It's loud, isn't it? It's loud, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, they're very loud. I muted them. I didn't make them hear that. You know?
Hi.
That was a pretty good way to do it, right?
Hi.
Hi. You telling them hi?
Hi, and Darling has 2 eggs in
Yeah.
the day.
That's true. Let me shake it up for you. There you go. Take
And
it.
Sissy has whatever.
Okay.
Sissy has 1 egg.
Yeah. That's true.
Sissy, listen, my name is Highway.
Okay. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you. She's like, crush this for me while you're at it. Okay. So Lynette has no privacy fence now. Just an eyesore fence Kirk put up. 10 panels attached to poles. Levy County is letting her get away with that ugly fence as shown on the videos. Yeah, I saw that in quite a few videos. It's been kind of maddening to see. I mean, again, I think a privacy fence actually would not, you know, if somebody hired a contractor to put the thing up, that might actually help out quite a few people that have been involved, not just her. So, I wouldn't give 2 cents to it, but if people that want to donate to that thing over on that side of things, if they want to, no, have at it. Have at it. And one, thanks for the 2. Megan is in the chat. Of course she is. What's up, Megan? Much love to her, by the way. Now, as far as discussion for the for residency here, the federal courts have limited subject matter jurisdiction. There are, quote, 3 types of subject matter jurisdiction. Number 1, jurisdiction under a specific statutory grant. Number 2, federal jurisdiction, or federal question jurisdiction, rather, pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1331, or diversity jurisdiction pursuant under 1332A. Now, the party invoking the court's subject matter jurisdiction bears the burden of proving that the case falls within at least one of these 3 categories. When the asserted jurisdictional basis is diversity under 1332, court must make 2 determinations. First, a court must determine if there is controversy, quote unquote, between citizens of different states. Second, a court must determine if the amount of the controversy, it exceeds $75,000. Now, with the regard to the first determination, quote, citizenship, not residence, is a key fact to establishing diversity for natural persons. And you can see what they're basing this on. And citizenship is equivalent to domicile for the purposes of diversity jurisdiction. Now, a person's domicile, where you lay your hat, quote, is the place of the true, fixed, and permanent home and principal establishment, and to which he has the intention of returning whenever he is absent therefrom. Now, because, quote, domicile is not synonymous with residence, a person, quote, may temporarily reside in one location, yet retain domicile in a previous residence. Now, I find all this stuff to be fascinating anyway. You know, how does a court look at arguments, again, when we're talking about litigation from one place to another, we're talking state to state. How actually is that established? You get your answers there. So a change in domicile requires, quote, concurrent showing of 1, physical presence at a new location with 2, an intent to remain there indefinitely. Now, if a party believes that diversity jurisdiction is lacking, then the party may seek dismissal under Rule 12b-1. Rule 12b-1, motions come in 2 flavors. Flavors. I love flavors, by the way. What kind of flavors do you like? I've heard a lot of flavoring lately. I've been spending too much time around kids and ice cream lately. So I've heard a lot about flavoring lately, you know. What type of flavors? The kids, weirdly enough. So here's a question for all of you out there. This is totally off topic, but I kind of want to know this, okay? When you go to a place to get ice cream, like say you do get ice cream, do you go for something exotic or do you go for a main staple? The kids go for vanilla. Now, for me, like, I hate vanilla. I hate vanilla ice cream. I like chocolate ice cream, but I hate vanilla. But I think that's because when I was a kid, you know, the school foods were so awful. They would give you this bricko stuff they would call ice cream. And it was always vanilla. It was disgusting stuff. So I don't think I really hate vanilla per se. But ugh. I don't know. I'm reading the chocolate almond. I'm trying to see, are there... Here's the thing. I'm curious too. 1 or 2, like if you, just ice cream wise, if you go to the store or something, do you buy vanilla ice cream? 1 for yes, 2 for no. And I'm not talking about like on the, like say you had a party and you were, you know, buying different things. I'm talking about if you have your choice of different things, do you go in and pick out vanilla ice cream? There are a few of you too. That's interesting. Like there's a, you know, there's more of you than I would think there, to be honest. There's a lot of 2s. Like for myself, my requirements are I want chocolate with lots of chocolate with something that makes it chocolatey, you know? So if it's like chocolate, you know, like death by chocolate, you know, chocolate with chocolate chips, with fudge, you know, I mean, and if I'm paying like $20 for a bunch of ice cream scoops, you better damn well believe I'm going to buy something interesting. I'm not going to go with some weird flavor like, you know, let's try bubblegum, pistachio, mint. It's like gross. I don't even want to imagine that in my mind, but, you know. But anyway, I don't know why I went there. I saw 2 flavors, and I was thinking chocolate and vanilla. I've been having that discussion with my kids a lot. I'm like, there's more than 2 flavors. And they're like, Dad, you can't have that argument. You always get chocolate. It is a terrible argument, I suppose. When you're like, there's more than 2 flavors. They're like, yeah, that kind of applies to your dumb argument too, Dad. Oh, my God. I love it. I love it. John, by the way, thanks to the dad. My parents had pics of me from when I was a kid licking chocolate cake mix from a bowl my mom made it in when I brought my black wife home for the first time. They joked that it was foretold. Oh no. Oh no. You know, I always used to do that. You know, they tell you, don't make brownie mix and eat it. You know, that's not safe. I'm not saying it is either. My kids nowadays, now they make stuff where you can make it and you can't actually eat the mix and stuff. You know, it's different. But, you know, when I was a kid, it's like, you know, none of those raw ingredients. I'm like, I'm snagging that bowl, son. I'm going for it. Little danger now and then. Yep, I'm going for the batter. Anyway, here we go. Sorry, I got us way off topic there. I don't care, though. That's a good argument. So, you can also pull this up, of course. You can look up any document in the case, and you well should. You should do your own research, for sure, with anything. If you look at it and you think, man, everyone's a moron in this, you're absolutely allowed to do that, too. But Rule 12b1, motions come in two flavors. The facial challenges and the factual challenges. Now, with a facial challenge, don't look up, by the way, I'm just going to say this, don't look up that without putting court, because I can only imagine. I've learned this thing online, okay? I've learned if it can be something that sounds like it could potentially be dirty or something in any way, don't look it up without being very descriptive about it. Like, I would bet you if you went and looked on Twitter, do not do this, I'm going to say, but if you looked up facial challenges, I'm sure you're going to find something that is not involved in court. So if you want to learn about some stuff like this, I'm going to say, I'm just giving you some advice here. Make sure that you add in like court rules or court decisions and all of that, because otherwise you are in for a freaking horror show. One time I made the mistake of looking something up on Twitter, or, you know, here's a terrible thing too. You can look up That Umbrella Guy, but never look up Tug, because if you do and you look it up on Twitter especially, you're going to find some horrible stuff. Ugh. I figured we'd give you a little PSA on that note. But anyway, so with a facial challenge, the court will look and see if the plaintiff has sufficiently alleged a basis of subject matter jurisdiction and the allegation and the complaints are taken as true for purposes of the motion. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said what I do. I do not have an off switch for my brain some days, so I apologize in advance for anything I say. That extends forever. On the other hand, a factual challenge attacks, quote, the existence of subject matter jurisdiction in fact, irrespective of the pleadings, and matters outside the pleadings, such as testimony and affidavits are concerned. Now, having laid out the applicable legal framework, it is time to apply it here. So first, number one, it is necessary to determine the type of challenge defendants have brought in their Rule 12b1 motion. It is a factual challenge. Now, there is no dispute that plaintiff has facially alleged that there is diversity of citizenship and the amount of controversy exceeds $75,000. Now, through their motions, defendants are challenging the factual accuracy of plaintiff's allegations. So they're saying, again, he is not a resident of, and as far as money-wise, there is no way the amount of money that works in. And again, these are important. If you hear me relight that thing, by the way, it's because I talk too long and I don't keep the thing lit. Oh, by the way, so this is random too. Who cares? I don't care. This is a live stream. If you want to read a legal document, you just read a legal document, right? So I decided to order something for a cigar. They clog up at the end. And you have different items there. Basically, they poke through the end of the cigar and they keep them moving, right? It makes an air hole through it. Okay, well, so I'd ordered odds and end items. They were okay. Well, a friend of mine gave me a pack of, they are supposed to be titanium toothpicks. You know, like you get a waterproof toothpick thing, and they're metal toothpicks. These things look like little javelins. I was like, man, if you put that in your mouth, first of all, titanium, probably not good for your teeth. You know, might break something. But these things are so sharp. That's what I use them for. he'd apparently bought them thinking that they would be used, he's like, oh, interesting. Toothpicks that, they don't expire. Yeah. They might expire your gums and your teeth. You should look these things up on like Amazon. If you're ever bored and you want to look up something crazy, look up titanium toothpicks. And read the freaking I'll have to take a picture of these for you. They're nuts. I can't believe people sell them. These things are dangerous. They're so sharp. They come with little protectors for the end, like little plastic items to keep you from stabbing yourself, because they're sharper than thumbtacks. I was like, why in the world would you use that in your mouth? Anyway, I'm all over the place tonight. I'm having fun, though. I'm having fun tonight. It's okay. So, as far as the factual accuracy, they're claiming the plaintiff is, like them, a citizen of Levy County, Florida, as opposed to Summit County, Ohio. Now, in support of their argument, defendants have submitted affidavits and a screenshot of plaintiff's Florida voter registration. Now, because defendants have, quote, offered evidence outside of the pleading to rebut jurisdictional allegations contained therein, plaintiff, quote, must respond in kind with evidence, e.g., extrinsic evidence such as testimony and affidavits, to prove by the preponderance of the evidence that jurisdiction tangibly exists, irrespective of the complainant's allegation. I like how that's written, by the way. That flows very well. For so many 25-cent words, that definitely flows very well. Many legal arguments do not, or legal terminology oftentimes does not flow. It sounds oftentimes not like word soup, because it does make sense, but it sounds more like word vomit. You're like, somebody was really trying to sound smart in this one today, right? That one, though, that one sounds really good. I'm proud of it. Explaining, again, they give the different, I'm not going through the verses. If you want to look up specific cases, you are welcome to as well, but they give you their breakdown for their decision. Explaining that the party invoking the court's jurisdiction must prove, quote, by preponderance of the evidence, facts supporting the evidence of federal jurisdiction. Now, plaintiff has responded in kind with evidence sufficient to show by preponderance of the evidence that he is a citizen of Ohio and not Florida. So he has indeed met this burden. That evidence, it consists of, again, an Ohio driver's license, an Ohio property tax record for 2024, a current insurance policy listing an Ohio address, a current Ohio vehicle registration, Ohio utility bills, a federal income tax return listing plaintiff's state as residents, Ohio. And like I said, I thought this was fascinating. Like everything, it reminds me of one of those Sesame Street, one of these things is not like the other. Which one of these things does not belong? So which one? Let's see. Driver's license, property tax. And again, I'm not saying it doesn't belong as proof. I just like how they got this in here because they put it in front of the judge. They actually got to put in something else. This doorway was open, and they damn well should put this in. Like I said, vehicle registration, income tax, driver's licenses, and a protection order. A recent order of protection issued by an Ohio court listing an Ohio address for plaintiff. So I like that they actually put that in. There's a little bit of, good one with that. A+ gold star. I like the gold star effort with it. Very beautiful. Love it. You got to love that, right? Man, YouTube is being weird, by the way. There are 14, according to StreamYards, there are over 1,400 of you here, but YouTube keeps going, like its count keeps going down and then it'll jump back up. It's weird, man. They've been doing something weird for the last 2 days. So appreciate you. Let people know that we're live too, because apparently, it's being it's being kind of asinine about that lately. Now, they're not saying anything about the turnout. That's great turnout. But it's just being weird about it. I don't know what's happened with that. Hey, John, by the way, thanks for that. They make special Zippos that have a hole in the lighter part. It's perfect for holding sideways to light a cigar. I use those like monster 4 torches. I have one that I can't lose. Like it's you can hear it. Listen to this thing. It's this is a desk one. Listen to how heavy it is. Here I'm dropping. I just set it down hard. You know, I held it about maybe half an inch over and just let it fall a little bit. But it's like a bricko. And listen to this thing fire up. Listen to this. It's got 4 freaking jets on it. So it's like a flamethrower. And it's secured enough that like a kid cannot open it or anything like that too. I always look at safety as part of the measure as well. You know, not just an easy flip. But anyway, getting off topic yet again. Now I'm talking about lighters. I'm talking about ice cream, what you shouldn't search on Twitter, vanilla ice cream, by the way. What you shouldn't search on there, and titanium toothpicks and cigar lighters. What a day, right? What a day. Additionally, plaintiff has submitted an affidavit stating that he has, quote, always had his domicile in Ohio since his birth in 1977. His affidavit further attests that he, quote, intends to keep an Ohio domicile, that, quote, Ohio is my true, fixed, and permanent home, and that he, quote, intends to return to Ohio whenever I am absent therefrom. Yes, I would not actually want to consider nothing against Otter Creek. I don't know the residents there. So people-wise, I have ran into many decent, kind people that have come from that place. They, as far as a community, there are many nice people. So when I say this, I do not mean anything negative about the people. But there is no way in hell I would reside in Otter Creek. No way. After seeing some of the madness there. And as a Jeremy Hales, why would you ever call that home? And that's actually a sad thing, because the community of decent people, they would actually greatly benefit from a person like Jeremy Hales being there. Again, this is a place, if you look up, if you're ever curious and you want to see the state of the place there, go and look up Otter Creek in videos. Just find people talking about the town. Because what they do is they talk about it as a ghost town. The town that was. And when you talk about places like that, it's written off. And it's sad because, you know, people, they live there because they've always lived there. Family's been there. You know, they have family homes. Some people can't leave. You know, there's many reasons why people would be there. Some people may love the place, but like I said, some people may be stuck there too, you know, and ultimately they would really benefit from some kind of infusion into a place like that. And the business that man could bring there, celebrations and everything else, I mean, the citizenry, they would directly benefit. Plus, if it actually became a thriving area, you know, and if people have property ownership that they thought, well, it's not worth that much, it could actually raise your property values. All kinds of positives could have come from it. That's sad. It's sad. Now, again, I'm saying, you know, he's like, yeah, I plan on returning to Ohio. I love Ohio. I love it there. But you know, after everything coming in like this, why would he ever want to change his mind? Like I said, that's sad. And the people who see this too, they would think, like for me, Levy County, hell no, I wouldn't want to live there. Man, if a crime happened there, holy God, I would never want that prosecution. Like, I would never want to have to depend on them. After looking at not just cases that revolve around this or have connected to, say, again, what happened with Patty, or like not just that, but going back and looking at articles and videos and other things. Wow, like you, that place has been called out big time. It's been called out in documentaries, articles. I mean, it's fascinating when you start looking. This has happened over years and years. And another fascinating thing is it's the same people. Like if you look at the names that are being called out in the past, it's the same people in the present. That's awful. By the way, John, it's 5 there. 77 was the best year ever. Star Wars, and the year my wife was born. Well, it sounds like a good year there, actually, Wife born there. Props to her, by the way. You folks, much love to you all. For sure, John. Well, I hope she's doing well. I hope you're doing well. Like I said, appreciate both of you. Star Wars year, yeah, man. The world changer. Before I try to pretend that Disney doesn't exist in that. So I hear you. It only exists. Well, I'll even include the prequels. But Disney, no, they never bought Star Wars. I never saw that happen. But anyway, with regard to Florida, plaintiff's affidavit explains that in 2020, he purchased a quote-unquote non-homestead property in Florida because the weather is better in the winter. That may make sense, by the way. There's the give and take. By the way, I hope anybody that's from Florida right now, I hope you are being safe. There's been a lot of awful. I hope damage, if it was done, is not too bad. I mean, we're getting some of the I was going to call it blowback, but that's not right. We're getting some of the offshoot of that, I guess is more apt a description. We're getting the weather here in Tennessee. We're having massive storms. And that's because of what hit Florida. That's awful. So I hope everybody there is safe. Everybody. I include even people like there was a conversation last night talking about like Miss Preston and Mr. Cook. I hope that they are fine for sure. No joke in that, no nothing. I wouldn't wish anything like that on anyone. I hope during this, I hope whatever remnant turtles there are, I hope that they were all protected and more for sure. Suzanne, by the way, thanks for that. He picked the place due to the location for his storage unit. Buys now that they will likely move depending on the federal case. If she is forced to move, they may stay. Yeah, I worry about their safety, honestly. Like if I'm just being real, when I look at this entire case, I really do worry about their safety. And that they have to worry about it a lot too. Because there's no way they feel safe and secure like law enforcement's ever going to do a damn thing for them there. So as far as living there, I mean, I know that they've had a significant investment. They've done a lot of work. They have the other, the buildings out there that they've picked up. I mean, this stuff would be beautiful for their job. But yeah, I mean, when I look at it, I said this too at one time, and it actually bothers me when I thought this. I had a follow-up thought to it. I thought at first, man, why don't they move? And the more I thought about that, the more it made me angry that I thought that too. Man, why don't they move? Because they shouldn't have to. You should never be forced away from your property. You shouldn't be forced to flee because of fear. Now, people are all the time forced to do that, but with so much evidence given to law enforcement and more, it's just what a messed up situation. It's a terrible situation, even to think that too. No one, like I said, should ever be forced to think, man, I just want to get out of here. I'm going to sell this thing. Because, yeah, like you said, there was a reason that it was bought. For business. Now, although plaintiff admits that he registered to vote in Florida, he claims he has never voted in any other state than Ohio. Now, according to plaintiff, he's only registered to vote in Florida because one of the defendants was running for a local office and plaintiff wanted to vote against her. Now, according to plaintiff, registered because one of the defendants was running for office. You notice that? So this statement right here, and you're allowed to do that, by the way. You do not have to vote any asshole into office that you don't want to. If he wanted to register, that is fascinating, though. He's like, I didn't want her there. I mean, why would you, too? That's actually the way you're supposed to handle things, even. You know, if they're running for office, you find that it could be bad for whatever. I mean, you don't even have to explain the why. But yeah, that actually does make sense. But it notes the defendant withdrew from the election. So plaintiff says that he never voted in Florida. That's a fascinating add-on there, though, isn't it? You know, he's like, yeah, I did actually set up and register to vote Florida. But actually, that's not because of a main election. We're talking about that limited purpose public figure that's sitting around and me not wanting them in office. But they withdrew, so I never voted. It's fascinating to see in there, Derek. Continue. Now, based on the information and record, the court finds that the plaintiff has sufficiently established that his domicile is in Ohio. Although plaintiff may have purchased a residence in Florida, where he resides part-time, residency is not the same as domicile. In order for plaintiff to have changed his domicile from Ohio to Florida, he would need to be physically present in Florida with, quote, an intent to remain there indefinitely. Now, plaintiff disclaims any intent to remain in Florida, and his affidavit states that Ohio is his, quote, true, fixed, and permanent home, and that he, quote, intends to return to whenever he's gone. Now, he's talked, like I said, he's talked about Ohio in a very positive manner many times. Like, it's been brought up over and over again. And yes, like they say here, you're allowed to purchase property. Like, there are many people out there, many businesses that own property all over. And just because you have, again, as it notes here, you have property, that doesn't mean that that's your home. I think that's a great explanation for it, you know. Oh, home is where the heart is, and the driver's license, and where I pay my tax records, and more. Indeed. So the documentation plaintiff has provided supports plaintiff's claim that he's domiciled in Ohio. Thus, the court finds that for purposes of diversity jurisdiction, plaintiff is a citizen of Ohio, and defendants are citizens of Florida. Thus, there's complete diversity between the parties. Now, again, they're trying to say that, that doesn't really matter. The merits of the case, that's what's going to knock it out. Now, again, you know, all cases, too, they're not easy wins. Like any case, I think there's some easy wins that we're seeing as far as the thumbnail litigation. I think you have easy wins for like DUI guy and them. I do. And I'm not saying that because I know DUI guy and people involved. I just think that's a preposterous lawsuit. It's absolutely preposterous. I think you have an easy win for the Lloyd Camper mess. And again, when I say that, it's not because, you know, I've communicated or anything. Yes, I have certain opinions about the people who brought that. But if they would have brought some, you know, hammered down litigation, be like, oh man, that looks troubling. No, not even. Not even. But this has merits. We'll see how all of it argues. It'll be fascinating to watch play out. Now, on top of that, it says, so you have you have Ohio, Florida. That's established. But complete diversity is not all that is needed for jurisdiction to be proper under 28 U.S.C., blah, blah, blah. There is also the requirement that the amount in controversy, it exceeds $75,000. Now, you'll notice this is something that comes up over and over again, and people always ask about this. Why does a certain amount of money, why is it always brought up? Because you notice lawsuits, you see all the time, lawsuits will talk about damages, and they will say this exceeds $75,000. That is not about the collection of that specific amount of money. Again, you're meeting the requirements so you can continue with litigation. I think that's actually, I like it. I like that this is presented right from go, because a lot of people will understand why other lawsuits that you see, and you see a lot of them. If you watch any lawyer channels, you watch it, or us, myself, Megan, whomever, you see a lot of documentation. You see that number. So I actually like the fact that this does go over it, because you do have people that will ask that question. But typically, a plaintiff, quote, need only plead an amount sufficient to satisfy the amount in controversy requirement in good faith. And the plaintiff's good faith statement of the amount in controversy, quote, will be second guessed only if it appears to a legal certainty that the claim is really for less than the jurisdictional amount. But when, quote, jurisdiction is based on a claim for indeterminate damages, the legal certainty test gives way, and the party seeking to invoke federal jurisdiction bears the burden of proving by preponderance of the evidence that the claim on which it is basing jurisdiction meets the jurisdictional minimum. Now, meeting this burden is not onerous, as it merely requires that plaintiff convince the court that it is more likely than not. So again, you notice how this is set up. It is more likely than not that the pleading satisfies the jurisdictional minimum. Now, in this case, the plaintiff's complaint does not seek a specific dollar amount of damages. Instead, it generically seeks damages, quote, that exceed $75,000. So strictly speaking, plaintiff's claims for damages is indeterminable because, quote, claim for indeterminable damages is defined as a claim that includes an unspecified demand for damages. And again, they note at for, you can see the asterisk here, referring to allegations that, quote, the matter in controversy exceed the sum or value of $75,000 as a claim for, quote, indeterminate damages. Again, I'm skipping all the case. If you're one of the folks that likes to go in and look at every case that's noted, definitely do so. In fact, if you do that, I'm going to say this. If you do that kind of legwork with stuff, make videos about it. Note it all. Also, I know there are people out there that write down certain items. If people actually did articles, that broke that down. I know some people do Medium articles. People actually broke down these, and you do that, let me know. Like, again, I find that to be interesting. Some case law I would actually look up because I'm curious about that. But again, in the decision, they're giving the basis of what they're saying here. Anyway. And to also see here, because the complaint alleges only that the amount in controversy exceeds $75,000, the relief sought is indeterminate. Thus, the preponderance of the evidence test and not the legal certainty standard applies. Now, a court can find the plaintiff has satisfied the preponderance standard based on the factual allegations in the complaint. Again, you see the C's, so finding the plaintiff demonstrated the requisite amount in controversy by the preponderance when it alleged factual support for the claimed amount, and also finding that the plaintiff met the preponderance test because the complainant's allegations, when read broadly but plausibly, could command $75,000 or more in damages. Now, the plaintiff's complaint and his affidavit state that he is a successful social media personality who makes his living from people subscribing to his content and viewing his videos and posts. According to plaintiff, now over 700,000 people have subscribed to his YouTube channel. Now, to give you an idea of how successful that is, just to note, I saw somebody break this down once. And this may have changed in the last, if this has changed in the last, say, year and a half, I don't know, but statistically, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, someone broke down the odds of making it to a cutoff of 300,000 subscribers. And they said that you have better odds of actually making it to the NBA draft. You know, when you look at people that have made that actually are being considered for the draft versus making it to 300,000 subscribers. Now that's fascinating when you think about that. Actually being able to make it to these numbers. So when you talk about success and making a living, yes, indeed. You know, I see people that talk about, quote unquote, making a living, and I know how much money is made at a certain level. Now, live streams are a little bit different than videos, but I've seen people, you know, claim that they're a full-time YouTuber and have 10 or 20,000 subs. And if you can do that, by the way, props to you. Big props to you. But the amount of money that is engaged there versus what we see with a channel like What the Hales, you know, they have people not only that watch a lot of videos, but when you look at some of the video lengths, see, length plays into it too. When you determine how much money a channel makes, if people are, I'm not talking about short videos, by the way. I'm not talking like, you know, if you make it over 8 minutes, you have bumpers in the middle. So, you know, you have shorts. This is way too much. I really, but I want to say this anyway. I don't care. You have shorts. They barely pay. YouTube shorts are just insanely low based on ad revenue. When you get over 8 minutes, though, a creator has the ability to put in bumper ads. Now, these days, YouTube likes to shove them in anyway. But that means that you can have an ad in at the beginning and the end, but you also have ads that pop up in the middle. Now, used to, we could knock them out. And then after a while, I'm not sure if I can knock them out of there anymore. I haven't looked at that in a while. You know, after the new rules, I think sometimes they just shove them in. But if people, you know, success is based on view time, not just views, but view time. So with the Hales, they not only have success with numbers. When you're breaking 100,000 per video, that's big time. And their live streams, they clock insane amounts of numbers. But the view time on that, audience retention, that works in. So yes, now their money is, a lot of it is going to litigation. So, but yeah, I mean, as far as success, the reason I bring that in is because, again, I see people that make claims about, I'll make a living on there. You know, well, there's a big difference in what you're building at 700,000 subscribers versus, you know, what you build at other levels. And again, no hate on anybody when I'm saying that. I'm just pointing that in. But it notes that subscribers often pay monthly fees for premium access to plaintiff's social media content. Now, here's one of the problems you run into, too. A lot of judges have no idea how online business works. In fact, we were reading a case. This really drove this home to me with a statement in a case that was talking about claims that had been made. Somebody had shared claims about another person and had made some pretty horrific claims about them being ARPists and just horrific stuff, right? And the judge, when he looked at that share, compared that to sharing on Facebook pictures of someone's dogs or cats. I was like, one is not the other. You know, if you share a picture of a dog, you're not making a making a statement that's added to that and calling someone an ARPist. But it just showed you how a judge did not understand any of this. You also see that there's a lot of U.S. law, like phones, for example. For some reason, for a while back, I got on this kick where I wanted to understand aftermarket iPhones, like, you know, you fixing your phone and the lawsuits that come from it. So I was looking up the case law and how that works, you know, and being able to put in different parts and have people work on that. And the judges that were making decisions on new technology, you know, and how online works and more, we're talking about judges that were right there at retirement age. They had no idea how any of this stuff worked. Technology had passed them by. So when you see descriptions, the reason I bring that up, they're going to have some grasp of things, or they're going to have certain things described. But when you look at it, you think, there's a lot more to that too. So you have monthly fees, also plaintiff claims that defendants have engaged in coordinated and extensive campaigns to defame, to harass, to extort, to threaten, and injure him and his social media business. Now, they have, I'm going to cover that for 1 second. Now, it's fascinating that they claim that they've never done this. Yet, again, just recently, we had, give me 1 second, let me see if I've got this really close by. Just recently, we had this come up. So I want to show you this and then we'll go back to the thing. Now again, I think that it's kind of telling in its own right. You had, again, now to make this clear, you have the lawyer for Lynette, the person that is involved in this filing. Setting on a stream here, where they're talking about sponsorship being lost, apparently, from what I understand, to two parties. Not just one party, but to two parties. Now, when you look at it, you know, yeah, there's been, in my opinion, very extensive attempts to do damage to business. They actually refer to video, where'd that video come from? And much, much more. Now, they claim, of course, they've never engaged in that. It's just randomly people sent them that as a LOL. Yeah. I think there's been some statements that might cause some real problems there. You know, new stuff that might actually work its way in as a part of injuring him in his social media business. Now, there are already claims, but you may see more added to that. I think, again, they're not doing themselves any favors. When you have somebody, I'm not talking about the people that are running that show, by the way. I'm talking about, like, if my lawyer was sitting on something and even remotely connecting my name to something like that, on a show, again, that is pretty much dedicated, you know, daily, and then they talk about them. So, daily shows, I would not be thrilled. But I'm going to say that the people that are involved in that are, you know, they're probably not smart enough to see the potential issues that could arise and cause them problems. Now, what they have listed here, more specifically, they note in this here, Defendant Cook, quote, posted a large collection of schmexual toys and stated that the plaintiff was selling them. Plaintiff Cook also posted online that plaintiff would you like me to post a picture of my rooster? I'm going to say rooster in, it notes, plaintiff partner's mouth. You can't take this down. And also, defendant Preston created and posted throughout the community signs saying things like, quote, plaintiff arped my daughter. Plaintiff needs to go. No child arpists in Levy County, and stop plaintiff. No arpists in Levy County. I'm going to cover that statement there. Actually, I'm going to read this last one, then we'll talk about that for a second. Defendant Cook and Preston have made online posts calling plaintiff a child predator, and those posts are constant and ongoing to this day. Now, those are very serious things, like I've said before. And anyone that would be honest would see how damaging, how awful those are. Again, that's not sitting down and saying, man, look at Batso over here, or this person's an absolute moron, or so on. No, there are, Mr. Medicare, the YouTuber, uses a term that I think really fits this. He calls those life ruination tactics. I have a child raider coming. Give me a second.
Look,
I have to turn that off.
I don't have a minion face, so I have to wear a Paw Patrol face.
I like your Paw Patrol face. That's really cool. Did that come with the new kit? Is that from the new box?
Yeah, I broke it, but I fixed it up.
That's good, man. Here, bump it up.
I broke
That's
it,
cool.
but that's how it goes. If there's a Halloween coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, with Halloween coming. Aren't you being a minion this year, though? That's what you said, right?
Yeah, I don't have a face, but I have goggles.
Yeah, your goggles and stuff, and we can, paint you up. She is wearing a Paw Patrol mask. She's showing me her Paw Patrol mask right now. Yeah, which Paw Patrol puppy is that? I don't remember.
Rubble on the double.
Oh, it's Rubble. Rubble on the double. That's right.
I got fucked on him.
That's okay. You can take that off. All right. Well, hey, go play for a little bit. That's cool.
Yeah.
Be careful when you're wearing it.
I don't have a
Make
face,
sure you...
though, so I wear a Rubble
Okay.
face for Halloween. But I can't wait
Okay,
for
well,
Halloween.
hey, you dropped it. Hey, you dropped your mask. It's right there. It popped off. Then you reeled it up.
Can you help me put it back on?
Yes, come here. Or you want to
I
put it on your
broke it,
face?
but I fixed it back up.
Well, you did really good. Come here. Let me put it on. Let's see. We'll put it right there. Okay?
Yeah,
How's that? Perfect.
Like Rubble.
Yeah, I like Rubble.
I don't have a face, but I have goggles and
Yeah. It's cool. I like it. All right. Go play. Love it.
I can't wait for Halloween.
I know. Halloween will be fun. We'll candy it up.
Where's Halloween?
Yep. We'll have fun on Halloween. We'll talk about Halloween this weekend, okay?
Where's Halloween?
It's a few weeks still. We still have a few weeks. It's close, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
She says, yeah, baby. Well, all right. Let's go up there. Have fun. Close my door, please. All right. Thank you. Yeah, they have a Paw Patrol kit they're playing with. Like it's a big activity kit, and it has some masks in it and stuff. So she was showing off her new creation. I like that. And like I said, anything on the screen that you see, I have a button over here that turns off the monitor. She can't read it. She wouldn't know what it says anyway. But yeah, for both of them, I just I kill the image on there or I'll break up something on it. But for that, I kill the image, and they can't hear anything I'm talking about. I know it's it's this setup. They can't hear it until they get close, very close to me. And on top of that, everything, like if we're talking with another person, I wear headphones. So anyway, give me 1 minute here. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Mel, thanks for the 10. I wonder if Bubbles could get in trouble for writing the first motion to dismiss, but let LP file it pro se. I don't know. There were allegations about the signature and stuff. Again, I don't know if they responded to all of that, but there was some crazy stuff that was talked about with that too. Patty, thanks for the 2. A-Tug, love your channel. Thank you. Appreciate that. Very much so. John, thanks for the 10 there. Public service announcement. If a YouTube ad is at the start of a video, you can hit back, forth to proceed. If there are 2 short ads, you must let them play, then hit back and forth. That's fascinating. Also, thanks for the finances tighter than they used to be. Used to do 20 memberships. Can't. Looking for gifts, turn them on. Yes, if he notes he's turned them on. And by the way, you know, you support if you want to, if you're in a good place too. And like I said, I appreciate y'all. Do fine with this. You know, we'll make a comic book in the next, after we get everything delivered, we're going to work on a new comic project too. Instead of taking sponsors, like for me, the stuff that happened with Jeremy and sponsors, that's why I don't like sponsors. Like what we do is we make comic books or whatever. You back something, you are backing. I'm not asking you to back a sponsor and their product and getting a, you know, picking up something that I've never heard of, which I'm not saying anybody does that. I'm just saying, like, for me, instead of doing that, we make an item. We run a business that way. And I get to do it with the kids. It's awesome stuff. John, also, thank you for 10 gifted memberships off of that, too. Thank you, man. I saw this fall in. Thank you. Appreciate it. And also, thanks for 5 a minion. LOL, I brought my kids Thing 1, Thing 2 shirts to go out with my wife a couple years ago. She was the cat in the hat. That's cute, by the way. Yeah, she's dressing up like a minion. That's what she's got a little dress. It's cute. It's like she wears it around just to wear it around, but it's a minion dress, you know. And she's like, I'm wearing that for Halloween. I want some gloves and some goggles. So I got her all that to set up. Denise, thanks for the 10 there. As quick as Lynette is to call the sheriff's department. If Germany had ARPed Harley, don't you think she'd file a report? She's nothing but a liar. She claims ARP on Harley if she doesn't get her way. I mean, those are horrible claims, too. Well, again, remember, in our society, that is the worst thing that you can be accused of. And if you doubt that, just look at prison rules. You know, prison is the perfect determination of... Oh, got a kid coming again. 1 second. Yes. What
I want people to really... How's so good?
We can't do that right now.
Please?
We can't do it. Well, go get me I have to have a butter knife. Not a knife, a butter knife. You know which one we're talking about? The plastic. Remember the plastic one? I'm going to... Yes, the little safety ones. The plastic. They're not real. Remember. The ones you're allowed to use. So, during the middle of a live stream, I'm going to make a jelly sandwich. Yes, get one of those. It will be okay. The yellow one. Yep. We have like plastic. So we're in the middle of a live stream. I'm going to make a jelly sandwich. We run a professional show here. Actually, she was like, hey, I want a jelly sandwich. So, yeah, we were going to do that. So, you're just going to have to give me a second. She'll bring it back to me. Give me 1 minute. Bring it back to me. There it is. Yeah. That's okay.
So I don't get claws on my hands.
Yeah.
I got claws on.
Yeah, okay.
Last time when I made Sissy.
Hey, do you know where
jelly?
do you know where the paper towels are?
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah, go get a paper towel. I'm going to put it in a paper towel for you, okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to make you a peanut butter and... Well, she calls it a peanut butter and jelly, but watch, I'll ask her when she comes back. I'll ask her about it having... It's not allowed to have peanut butter in it. It's a farmer's market jelly, by the way. There's a place close to here, Mennonites. We know them. We have a very large Mennonite community in this area. And the Mennonites, oh man, they have some great stuff. Nice people, too. Really nice people. The only thing I hate about it is if I'm driving down the road and I get stuck behind a horse and buggy. That's the worst thing in the world some days if I'm in a hurry. But, I mean, that happens with combines and everything else, too. But the Mennonites are actually really nice people. You know? And I love to get their stuff because it doesn't have all the garbage added to it. You know. All right, look. So you wanted peanut butter in this too?
No, I just want jelly.
So you want a peanut butter and jelly without peanut butter? Is that what you said?
I want jelly, just jelly.
Jelly, okay. Well, you said peanut butter and jelly, so I was making sure. Okay, here, hold it with both hands. Don't hold it with one. Take it upstairs there. Don't let it drip, okay?
All I did was try to take the paper towel off.
Okay, I close my door for... Yeah, when you eat it. Yeah, I'll close my door, though, okay? All right. Thank you, baby. Love you. All right. Now let's turn this back on here. Like I said, apologies for the... actually, no apologies. My kids are part of it. With a video, you wouldn't have this, but with a live stream, that's part of it. You know, like we're not trying to be a Fox or a CNN or any of that stuff. We look through articles, we talk about that, but yeah, kids are actually more important than anything. And in fact, that's why, as far as running a channel, that is part of it too. You know, with if you like what we do and stuff, that's part of what everything goes to. So it's good there. But yeah, no apologies for it. You should always be a parent first. You know, no matter what you're doing, parent first. And people should have positive freaking reinforcement of that. Just too often these days, we see so many terrible stories about people not doing with their kids. And I think just letting, you know, I have a door, I could lock it, but there's no way in hell I would lock mine. That's one thing that bothered me when there was discussions about locking a kid away by themselves. No. I mean, she's old enough, she has her room and everything else is put away that could be dangerous. But, you know, I can't even really imagine locking myself off while I'm working, you know, let alone doing that before. But, okay, so you have the claims. Now, plaintiff further alleges that defendants have used their quote-unquote defamatory statements to persuade plaintiff's customers to stop supporting his business. Now, it's talking about lost revenue there. You know, some of these claims. And again, her own lawyer is setting on streams where some pretty hinky stuff, in my opinion, goes on. And yeah, I wonder about damages. You know, again, they say, all of these weird claims that you have thrown out. You know, whether it's, again, grifter or whether it's fake reality show, all that stuff, you could easily flip that and be like, doesn't that apply to them? Isn't that a script they're doing this? And they're doing it. Again, they keep claiming for, you know, damage and everything else. Couldn't we apply that? But anyway. So according to plaintiff, defendant's conduct has caused him to suffer, quote, injury and harm to his reputation, and he has incurred costs associated with his extensive efforts to mitigate against such injury and harm. Now, you know the extent of some of these costs, by the way. You probably have no idea how extensive those costs are. We've heard numbers, but those numbers, in my opinion, they're probably not anywhere close. Like, you just have you know, when you and I hear something, like when we hear $190K, for example, there's a lot more that goes in. That's just lawyer costs and filing, you know, like God knows how much other costs has come in. And here, you know, another thing that you run into, like Jeremy isn't just responsible for Jeremy. With his business, there are other people that have their lives and livelihoods connected to him. Like, that's one of the crazy things too. It fascinates me to see claims that he somehow needs these people in order to run a channel. It's like, no. You do become accustomed to talking about what happens in your life. Like for me, again, I talk about things that come up in my life. You hear them happen day to day. If something like this were happening to me, for sure I would talk about it. I've talked about anytime we get threats or crazy letters or anything, we talk about those. So of course, I would extensively document all of the stuff that comes up. In fact, next week, I'm probably going to tell you a really insane story that comes from my own life. But I want it to be, I need something to pass for a moment. And then I'm going to tell you some crazy stuff that have been coming up. Because, you know, it's what you do. You know, he's talked about this, and you also talk about it because you're trying to mitigate damages too. You know, when people go out and they make claims about you, you know, you can sit there and be quiet about it to a certain point. But all that does is let it grow and fester, and that'll destroy you too. We've seen that with some large YouTubers, not comparing one to the other, but look at all the crazy stuff that came up with Mr. Beast. Okay, now with the Mr. Beast stuff, some of that worked out to be very true. But you know what was really damaging in all of that? More than anything? Silence. The silence there lets people think no matter what came up, that would be true. They got big enough that they started using lawyers and whatnot. But yeah, it was damaging, you know. And I'm not comparing one case to the other. No, not in any way, shape, or form. I'm just talking about what happens when you allow silence. You know, a lot of people, you know, the old damage control mode was be quiet and it'll just go away. No, it doesn't. It doesn't go away. No matter what, claims are going to be associated with you. Those, they never, I've had some crazy shit said about me. And I've addressed many of those things. They still get associated. People still try to damage. And I've never seen such a concerted effort to try to do damage like we've seen with some of this. But he also says the defendant's conduct has resulted in a loss of revenue streams that otherwise would have remained with plaintiff. Oh, yeah, there was that, like I said, the other day. I'm curious how the conduct of, again, I'm not attributing, when I talked about the loss of sponsor, I'm not attributing that directly to these two, but you just look at some of the insanity. And I do wonder, when somebody represents you, they are this. They are your lawyer. They are these motions. And they're front and center for all of the damage being done. I do wonder how that plays out. I always wonder about the legal consequences to some of that action. But in terms of relief, it says plaintiff seeks damages, attorney fees and costs, and any other relief the court may deem appropriate. Now, having reviewed the allegation in the plaintiff's complaint and the information provided in the plaintiff's affidavit, the court finds it more likely than not that the plaintiff has satisfied the amount in controversy requirement. Now remember, that's just saying that the allegation, this is not saying, just to make this very clear, that the allegations themselves have been upheld. Okay, that's not what this says in any way, shape, or form. What it's saying here is that the amount of damage that's being alleged here, he has satisfied the amount in controversy requirement. So it has to exceed X amount of dollars. Yes, when you look at all of this, it may well pass over that. So the defendants have alleged engaging in a public and coordinated campaign to ruin plaintiff's successful social media business by, amongst other things, repeatedly, both online and in the real world, falsely accusing him of being an ARPist and a child ARPist. There are few allegations that could be, look at this here. There are few accusations, rather, that could be more harmful to a person than false allegations of essaying others, especially children. This is something we talk about all the time, and I'm glad to actually see this in a filing, because that is true. When people want to ruin others, They put kids like that in the crosshairs, and they make allegations. And the grossest part of that is it works. It works very well because people will side-eye and they'll think, why would somebody say that about you? Were it not true? Yeah. And when you think about a place, again, for these allegations, number one, they're made in the real world too. So with these, with the allegations here, you're not just talking about damages. You're also talking about a whole nother world of crap that could open up. I mean, if somebody actually believed that, what do you think could happen to them? Because I can tell you, again, prison rules. You see what prisoners do if they think that somebody has done this stuff. So if somebody feels that they're coming in and they're saving the lives of a child, they're saving them from some mean arpist, yeah, that's, again, financially damaging, reputationally, but that can end in the type of extremes that you wouldn't see with other things. All their other claims about, poor, elderly, disabled, all of that. Again, those buzzwords, they're meant to evoke certain words or feelings. You notice they don't just say, his neighbor. They bring up buzzwords to describe them. And that's because, again, they're hoping that will evoke specific emotion, specific responses. Now, on top of that, again, go further. They bring up motherhood. They hope that will bring up strong responses. And then to say that person is abusing, like that accusation there, shoo. So what he's alleging has been done to him in this, yeah. Said, that is particularly true when the falsely accused person's business and source of income are directly tied to the number of people who view, support, and subscribe to his social media content. It is not difficult to see how being falsely accused of ARPing children, along with other defamatory statements defendants have allegedly made, that is the key here too, we are saying allegedly, this has to be proven there, could cause plaintiff to suffer damages in excess of $75,000. Like I said, this is serious stuff. The court sees it. Like this is a weird game of pretend that has been happening, though. Where, again, I see people that some of them I think are, are smart enough to understand what they're saying is a bunch of BS. And I've heard people say, well, if somebody made those claims about me, I would just ignore them. Would you really? Again, calling somebody ugly or fat or insulting them, that is much, much different. These are the kind of things that, again, you also have to remember, too, in responding to allegations. Have you ever watched allegations being made, like when they hit the media? Like huge allegations, like somebody has been accused of SA. When you have the original articles hit, if there's a response to that, you notice it never gets the same amount of traction. And even if it did get the same amount of traction, who knows? People have already been lost. Again, nobody wants to support that, of course. Of course. Then they note, more verses. Refusing to set aside $8.2 million defamation jury verdict where the defendant falsely stated in public advertisements that the plaintiff had solicited underage girls for a schmexable. So, the case law here, they were talking about, again, an $8.2 million defamation verdict because of those claims. That's why, you know, when I talk about claims, I try to make it very clear when we talk about red flags in certain people. And again, no contact with anybody. These are not my claims. I didn't claim that certain people out there were a danger to children or anything else. The people that were around them, they claimed that themselves. You know, I mean, that's much different. Same people that made allegations about Jeremy, according to this, by the way. That's why I try to make that very clear, too. Because those kind of, I mean, no, you better be right with that. You definitely better be right. Otherwise, forget the money you could cost here. You could cost somebody much, much more. And by the way, John, thanks for the 5 there. PA Amish parade, horse and buggies flying Trump flags was weird. Didn't think they were allowed to use colors. I'm not sure about Amish and coloration and stuff. I actually don't know how that works. So I don't know all the particulars and the rules. They do make some interesting knives, though. You know? John, thanks for 5. Tell you going to address the Diddy story. Heard he was doing his 1,000 bottles of baby oil with roofies. Yeah, I figure there's so much of the Diddy craziness. Well, we'll talk about that at the end, okay? We'll get back to that, okay? Remind me if I forget, all right? Because we'll talk about something with that. Give me a second, kid here. Yeah. Here, wait just a second.
I figured out my beetle was
Gotta pull
actually not a
something.
May beetle. It's actually a Japanese hope beetle.
Really?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Is that the big beetle, the flying beetle that we caught? Or
The flying beetle.
that's cool. It's a Japanese what?
Hope beetle. It's a Japanese hope beetle.
That's
apparently.
cool. Uh-huh.
To Google.
What will it be? I wonder how it got here.
I don't know.
That's weird. All right. Well, hey.
Honestly, I think it's a Danganronpa reference, to be honest.
I see.
I think they just made it to
All right.
spite the
Hey,
video.
keep an eye on the little one. Help her out with her activity thing. Okay. Thank you, kiddo. Love you, kiddo. We caught a giant beetle, like this gigantic flying beetle out here, and she was talking about it. So she was showing me that it was a different beetle than we thought at first. It was crazy. I saw this. It was a beetle about the size of my palm. I have a huge hand. It was flying around. I was like, what the heck is that monster? So she was excited. Found that there. They wanted things with a tug. I was already a member, but I had to renew my sub. Below being into thugs. Oh, I appreciate that. If you have something weird that happens, though, if you have like, I don't control the subscriber thing, but if for some reason you get your subscription removed before it's up, definitely write YouTube about that, because that would not be right. And I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate the heck out of that. I appreciate you being a thug. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. I had to pull all that down. Again, I had the thing I turned off, but it goes farther than that. And we also have the award here. Now, this award is crazy. If you look at that case, this case. One second, I gotta tell them to close this door. Hold on. Sorry, I was telling them to close the door. You probably heard it just then. I have to tell them, close the door. They can't hear it through there, but I don't even again, these are very serious topics, and yuck, you want kids to think about, again, insects and playing around and having fun. And you don't want them to ever hear about how awful the world really is. Like, that's one of the things that bothers me in this case, too. Because those claims, they invite discussions about the kid in a specific way That, I mean, just, that invites all types of horror, you know? I'm talking about claims that a guy was a child arpist, or that they arped a specific child. That's gross. That's horrible, too. And it's not just horrible for the person, it could be horrible for the kid, too. But this other case here notes that awarding the plaintiff $700,000 in damage for defamation, where the defendant referred to plaintiff publicly as, quote, an adult predator and like a child molester who had masterminded an attempted premeditated murder. See, this is the thing. Like, you hear these idiots talk about how they're going to sue people because of things like being called an ambulance chaser. And they can sue. But, yeah. You see what defamation really, it amounts to. You see what kind of stuff is there. Like, you're allowed to think somebody's an absolute moron or an idiot or whatever. You're not allowed to go out and say that they do terrible things to children, and, you know, that they have some, they've plotted, like the whole conspiracy. I always wonder sometime about these insane conspiracy theories that we hear too. I mean, some of them have gotten off in the weeds to the point that I'm like, that sounds like defamation to me. I mean, some of the insane stuff pointed at Jeremy Hales is what I mean. Some of that stuff, it just seems out there in the ether. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. So additionally, plaintiffs brought a claim under Florida's Civil Remedies for Criminal Practices Act based on defendants' alleged acts of extortion. Now, if plaintiff prevails on that claim, he may receive treble damages. Courts should consider the availability of damages when deciding the amount in controversy requirement has been met. Let's see. 1 second. Now, looking at the AI overview, just noting again this. Now, is a legal remedy that allows a court to award a plaintiff 3 times the amount of compensatory damages in certain cases. Okay, this is how AI overview notes that. Again, this remedy is often used when a defendant's actions are especially egregious. Types of damages are a type of punitive damage, which are awarded when a court finds the defendant's actions were willful and so outrageous that they need to be severely punished to deter others. They're often specified in statutes and may be awarded in cases such as False Claims Act. The U.S. government, it notes in the False Claims Act, recovered damages from defense contractors who knowingly submitted false claims, federal antitrust, bad checks, refusing to pay rent. So it's not like giving you an idea. These, they're not specific. Like, I saw somebody note, well, False Claims Act. I saw somebody bring that up. And I was like, well, you know, there's a lot more that can attach to as well. When acts are so severe that somebody may need to be deterred from doing that. And again, they're willful acts. You're talking about, again, more. The court's like, yeah, this is bad news. This is really bad news. So they're saying, and again, they're not awarding anything, but they're noting that they brought a claim under that. And if that prevails, then. So you can see the kind of stakes that are being played for here, you know. It's fascinating to see the discussions about this, because the other side of this case just plays it off like it's a nothing burger. And I sometimes wonder if the people that are involved in that really understand what is aimed their way. I mean, if they truly understand what has been pointed their way. Because again, you know, there's been a request, just stop. And if it did stop, like I've said a bunch of times, and Megan has said a bunch of times, Lynette could make her own money. Lynette really could. I mean, she's got enough of an internet persona. Like, this would be somebody that I could see trending for some of the just absolute insanity that comes out of her mouth that is funny. Like, this unintentionally funny. She could complain about Jeremy Hales all she wanted till the proverbial cows came home. She could sit around a live stream and talk about him being a jerk or whatever. And I don't think that would be as much of a problem, you know? I mean, the real thing would be to set aside, like, again, the real world stuff. Pull that out of there. And if they want to talk about him being a jerk or, a douchebag or whatever, doing not the back end of the Tiger King, because you saw how bad that ended up, but, the stuff where, damn that Carol Baskin, all that stuff. I mean, again, I really do think she could make there's some really good money being the Otter Creek version of an Elvis, like an Elvis impersonator, going out, marrying people. I could do all kinds of stuff. I mean, they would have to, they have to get certain things right in their lives, but man, they could make their own money. Like, that would be the thing. I wish they could have a moment of clarity right here and realize that all these people that have surrounded them right now, they're looking out for themselves. They're gaining from that. But if she really wanted to make money, if she really wanted to have her own independent success, again, all of this would bridge off of, like, leaving Jeremy Hales. Again, she could talk smack. I mean, who cares about that? But if all the other insanity stopped, you wouldn't be looking at this kind of money pointed your way. I mean, ultimately, she has one heck of a business model if she would embrace it. That is the saddest thing in that on that side, too. Again, not taking any of the blame or anything away from her either. But it's just like, you get these people that very much do enable behavior, in my opinion. But they're definitely not out there, they like to say, oh, they're doing this for X, Y, and Z. Now, they're doing it for their own motives. And again, more power to them if they want to. But those folks need to have some clarity of thought and think about, again, you could lose everything. Everything. Not just what you have now, but what's ever to come. You could be living under an order. Oh, and much more. Or again, you could figure out some way to press stop and take it a different route. It's probably too late for that, but still, man, I feel like I've said this a few times. I think that would be a desired outcome. I mean, sure, they may make a few, they may make a little bit of money in the immediate too, because there are people out there that want to buy into whatever narrative. There are a lot of people, for whatever reason, they may watch the chaos. They may drop a couple of dimes here and there, but having your own money is much, much different. Hey, Janice, by the way, thanks for the 10. I love Little Umbrella Girl's interest in entomology. She's adorable and sounding more mature. I know, she sounds like a little adult more and more. She wants to go over. We have this big store that sells like different types of insects. She's wanted to go over. Actually, what she really wants to get a hold of is like a walking leaf. Those insects that look like, we don't find them as much. We used to have walking sticks, like a bug, a stick bug. We used to get those all the time, and now we don't see them anymore. walking leaves, we've never really had those. And like she'd liked, I couldn't find any full-grown praying mantis this year. So, yeah, I don't know if anybody like has those in their area and knows some way to hook that up too. I would be willing to talk to them about that too. But anyway, let's finish this document here, and we'll talk about whatever. So we're right here. Again, this is on the amounts again that go with the claim under the Florida Civil Remedies for Criminal Practices Act. It's noting, example, the court must include any alleged damages available in Florida law in calculating the amount in controversy. So they're saying, yeah, that would act in there. Plaintiff has also sought attorney fees under the Florida's Civil Remedies for Criminal Practices Act. The act provides that a successful plaintiff may receive, quote, reasonable attorney fees. And the 11th Circuit has stated that when a statute authorizes the recovery of attorney fees, a reasonable amount of those fees is included in the amount of controversy. Thus, the court may include a reasonable amount of plaintiff's attorney fees in deciding whether the amount in controversy has been met here. Now, when the possible actual damages are combined with possible treble damages and possible reasonable attorney fees, the court easily finds, so not fines, but they easily find that it's more likely than not that the amount in controversy exceeds $75,000. So now you see their footnote about how all of that comes into the amount in controversy. Let's see if there's anything in it. I didn't read the footnote on this. Actually, let's look at it real fast. So the court notes that there are several cases in the Southern District of Florida holding that attorney fees under the Florida statute here may not be used in determining the amount in controversy. In reaching that conclusion, those cases reason that Florida law refers to attorney fees under... Okay, so this is all talking about determination of attorney fees. There's just a lot on that. It might not be interesting. So, conclusion. For the reasons above, it is respectfully recommended that 1, defendant's motion to dismiss 5, 6 be denied, and then number 2, the case recommitted to the undersigned for further proceedings. So, let me show you the signature for this. Now, again, there was argument about the date on this. So, let's bring up a document that has the order on here as well. You know, we've just gone over that. But here you have a signature day, just to make this clear too. Order adopting, report and recommendation. So this is the order adopting it. You can see the so ordered date is on. What day is that? What day do we see there? Just making this clear to people like, you know, that we're trying to argue that somehow in some way that this is all just recommendation and it had not actually been adopted. So, you see that, so ordered at the very bottom, September 27th, 2024. Now, I'm looking at the bottom of my computer, by the way, and it is telling me that I have not gone insane, that the date... the day we are on, unless you're living, unless you're living in a different time zone, maybe it's a different date past this, but right now I am broadcasting on September the 27th. So, you see, order adopting, report and recommendation. Both defendants moved to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. And they note, again, numbers 5 and 6. Magistrate judge issued a report and recommendation concluding the court should deny the motions. There has been no objection to the report and recommendation. Having carefully considered the matter, I agree with the magistrate judge. I now adopt the report and recommendation and incorporate it into this order. The motion to dismiss are denied. So it is denied. It is officially denied. Just to make that clear. Props, by the way. A few people said MaxLab, though. I do want to give love to MaxLab. MaxLab brings up a lot of stuff I have to give love specifically to them. There are other folks I do not know if you want your name out there. So MaxLab has mentioned this live and given, said, hey, look, so people know one of the people that has noted this stuff. Some people don't want their names, by the way. Like if I say people sin, when I talk about that, I'm not trying not to credit people, just to say I don't know all the time everybody that sends stuff. I appreciate the heck out of you, but I do not want you. Here's the problem too. Like there are just regular folks keeping up with this. I'm not saying people like YouTubers and others aren't regular folks, but I'm just talking about somebody that's looking at this, and maybe they've been doing their own research. Maybe they see a court order and they don't know if I've seen it or not, but they definitely, they either may not want themselves, want themselves brought into it, or some people have no idea that it doesn't matter how big you are or if you have something or not. You've seen doxing. You've seen people bring up other people's lives. And we've seen that in many crazy things. So I don't ever want you to think that I'm not crediting people for some reason. I just, like I said, I don't want your name attached to something, because a lot of people they don't really understand how crazy some people can get out there. I remember the first time I ran into really crazy people. I had under 10,000 subscribers, and they went after everything in my life, every single thing. Under 30,000, and there are people trying to make contact with businesses, like to tell you how crazy people are, and it's nuts. I have this clip that I play sometimes at the beginning. A lot of people, you'll hear the clips, but you don't know what they are. That one clip, I'm not going to play it all, but this clip
I'm calling from Los Angeles.
That guy. That's a police call. That was a guy that called 911 where I live. He was calling from Los Angeles. They were calling every law enforcement entity. They actually reported myself and other people to the FBI. Not in this case, just to say. I'm just saying why, how crazy stuff can be. They made 6 reports over 6 different states to police departments. They filed FBI reports. They called into this area. That it's clipped up to make fun of the person that they called that in, but that's actually a 911 call. And this other thing, it's a 3-second clip.
You know what? I talked to your mayor.
That's people bragging about talking to the mayor. We don't actually have a quote-unquote mayor per se, but the county executive that functions as a mayor, they had called and talked to them to complain about the mean old YouTuber. And they also had called the mayor themselves. I mean, it's wild stuff, because of course some people want to ruin your life because you talk about something and they don't like that. That's also to note too, like when we're talking about this stuff aimed at Jeremy Hales, like if something like that were aimed at you, could you imagine somebody aiming at your entire life and livelihood and trying to destroy everything you have, everything you've built, everything you are? I'm talking about from the ground floor up, trying to destroy your reputation, to call you a child rapist. Could you imagine them putting that out there and trying to put that in front of potentially hundreds of thousands of people? Telling thousands who would disseminate that to other thousands and so on. Could you imagine them going after every business that you ever work with? Any kind of job you have, sponsors and more. Like you can't really imagine how bad that can be. It's beyond mean words. It goes into something so much crazier. I bring up the individual circumstances because most people, for me, I've never had a problem with law enforcement. I've never been in trouble with the law. I'm trying to think. Give me a second. I had one speeding ticket, I think, back, God, I don't remember. Like, maybe it was somewhere around the millennia where I got to participate in clean up a certain county day. Like, I think that's the most trouble I've ever had. I got pulled over for speeding. I was speeding, I think, 11 or 12 miles an hour over, going to work. So after working, this was before I had gone to college or anything. After working 16 hours, I did clean up that community for X amount of hours. But that's the only trouble I've ever had with that. Can you imagine, though, never having any kind of run-ins with law enforcement or anything else, and then finding out that people are including you into that insanity? That's why I brought up with the RV thing, why I thought it was so crazy to find out about the trespasses. Because, as far as those trespasses are concerned, you have people that are noting that they've never had any kind of problem with law enforcement whatsoever. And now, because they didn't illegally do anything. They legally went in and they helped an elderly veteran move his property, that they had official trespasses written out to them. I mean, that's absolutely crazy when you think about it. I think so, anyway. Man, my chat keeps freezing up. Speeding tickets, you've had a few. Yeah, I've never been a big. I don't like losing money. So I've tried not to have that. I'm not saying with kids. Actually, that's another beautiful thing about having kids too. Any craziness like driving or anything else. I drive. I have some people that say I drive, Father, you drive like a grandfather. But I have my kids with me most of the time. So I drive at a decent pace. I mean, I do go over that, that clocking maybe 5 miles an hour over when you're on the interstate or something, or flow with traffic reasonably. But yeah, I try to stay out of that too. Never try to get into trouble. But anyway, you can see how this is going. And, there are people out there, again, the same people that said that this was going to be some monster win for them. They were just going to get this dismissed outright. They're going to knock it down with what they had filed. They are now saying that this is somehow not a big win for Germany. Why? Because they got to consume X amount of months. And they're still going to be able to knock it down because of the... Let me quote them, actually. Give me a second. One moment here. Let me make sure I quote this correctly. Oh. He's been like, Megan Fox. Oh my God, Megan Fox, too. That's hilarious. Oh, why is she so gleeful? Man, spends a lot of time with Megan. He's got Megan on the mind, baby. He's got Megan on the mind. It's so funny. But it's so funny, though. He's like, oh, well, they're saying that's a big win. It stopped his federal lawsuit in its tracks for 5 months. And all of this, it's going to be dismissed on merits. It's so funny, like I said, that when you look at it, there are people that are commenting to him, telling him, well, I thought you said when you filed this that they were uninformed. that they didn't know what they're talking about, and that the motion, yeah, that's not going to be denied. And they're like, well, you know what? Your post here, it 100% says that your motion was indeed denied. And you saw the proof of it. It was indeed denied. There was a recommendation that went out, and then it was signed off. Yes, it has been signed in. So it was 100% denied. It's fascinating to watch. Because I base, like, when I say big win for him, I'm basing that on what they said. They said this was going to be a monster win for them, and it didn't. So I guess that's a big win for him, right? Because the case still moves on. And you not only have that, but again, there's that one part in that decision, or in the, recommendation portion, that talks about false allegations. I would like to, in fact, just let me, again, I don't want to belabor the point, or belabor the point. But I do, again, just think about this. This is being stated, and you're like, yeah, okay. I mean, when you look at this portion right here, from here, really from the one page, I mean, just really drink these statements in by itself, with nothing else in it. Having reviewed the allegations in the plaintiff's complaint, and the information provided in the plaintiff's affidavit, the court finds it more likely than not that plaintiff has satisfied the amount in controversy requirement. Defendants have allegedly engaged in public and coordinated campaign to ruin plaintiff's successful social media business by, amongst other things, repeatedly, both online and in the real world, falsely accusing him of being an ARPist and a child ARPist. There are few accusations that could be more harmful to a person than false allegations of essaying others, especially children. That is particularly true when the falsely accused person's business and source of income is directly tied to the number of people who view, support, and subscribe to social media content. It's not difficult to see how being falsely accused of ARPing children, along with other defamatory statements defendants have allegedly made, could cause plaintiff to suffer damages in excess of $75,000. And then they note, again, cases, 2 cases here, they note. 1, refusing to set aside $8.2 million defamatory jury verdict when the defendant falsely stated in public advertisement that the plaintiff had solicited underage girls for schmecks. And also a second, awarding plaintiff $700,000 in damages for defamation, where the defendant referred to the plaintiff publicly as an adult predator and like a child molester who had masterminded an attempted premeditated murder. So again, when you're looking through all of this, they said that these claims are very serious. Like that right there. Like, this is something I've tried to hammer repeatedly. Like, all joking and crazy and stupid aside, that right there is big time. It has been downplayed over and over again. But that stuff is big time enough that, again, making that recommendation that it was showcased as that's bad. And again, you folks are reasonable people. You can understand how bad that could be. If it were aimed at you, period, that's bad enough. But like it says, if your business is tied to the idea that people, they view, they watch, they subscribe to your content, they back it, yeah, that could be very damaging. And they're making that clear. So I don't know how you make that any more, ooh, that doesn't look very good at all. Now, again, some of their answers to that is prove that my client did that. You can't prove that was actually them that did that. I mean, it's just, it's fascinating to see the quote-unquote defense that's been aimed at it. And we'll see more. No, I got another Raider. So it's already off the screen now. What's it?
It's hot.
What is that?
It's hot.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
I can't make a heart draw. Make a heart, so I had to make a heart hanger.
And she made a heart. You've also been making them out of Play-Doh and everything else too, haven't you? They're cute. That's cool. Take it upstairs, though.
It's for you.
Oh, that one's for me? Well, thank you very much.
I tried to make one for Gigi.
Uh-huh. You tried to make one for her, too? Yeah, we'll have to make some more hearts there. Yeah, look at that.
We need to keep that together.
Yeah, we will. Then later on, okay? We'll have to set it together. That is very beautiful. Give me 5.
I tried to make a tattoo on Sissy because I want to have a tattoo. The wash off.
Oh, really? What kind of tattoo were you making on her?
A side tattoo. I said no.
Here, you want to put a tattoo on my arm right here?
Yeah, which one do you want?
Make me a heart on my tattoo. Put one right there on my arm. There. Make me a tattoo. And then, okay. Oh, man. Can I see it? Oh, man.
I tried my best.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know how to make tattoos.
Yeah.
You must have, because it's rewashable.
I know it's a rewashable marker. Thank you.
Yeah, I like making tattoos.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Well, hey, go upstairs then.
I will tell Gigi when it comes over.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you a tattoo because this is rewashable.
So you're going to give your grandma a tattoo as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to give her a fishy.
A fishy tattoo? Okay.
Yeah, you got a heart.
I got a heart.
She gets a side of.
Yeah.
Me, I get a little heart.
Okay.
I get go make a heart.
Okay. Hey, go upstairs, though, for a few more minutes, okay?
I'm trying to make a heart.
All right. It's funny. She makes, like, hearts and everything else. Yeah, she gave me a heart tattoo just then.
Yeah, I got a heart too because I want a heart tattoo.
Oh, you've got one, too? Man, we have matching heart tattoos now.
Mine's connected, so do you want your inspector connected? You want to connect it?
Yeah, I'll see it later. Thank you. I saw this video. So that's pretty much covering that there. I saw this video the other day where someone was talking about, Twitter has the weirdest ideas, I guess, about parenthood and stuff. There were these people, and there were a lot of people commenting on this too, where they were talking about a father that his kids, his little girls, were painting his fingernails. And I don't remember what they said, but they were talking about it negatively. And I was like, are you kidding me? I can't even tell you how many times I've had my fingernails painted, my toenails, how many times I've painted fingernails. I'm terrible at braiding hair. I am very awful at that, by the way. But I can't tell you the number of times that I've attempted to braid hair. I've gotten better at it with 2 girls. But it was fascinating to see. I've gotten hearts drawn on me and unicorns. And yes, I've gone to work with that on me and everything else. But it's fascinating to see people look at that like it's some kind of negative, Now, as far as Jeremy also, so I want to know something. I do, I'll probably do this, give me 1 second. I'll probably do this, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know what we'll do tomorrow, but, the videos of the dismissal, I'll probably showcase those too. Just to talk about those. I thought I finally sit down and watched there's so much in this case to talk about. Oh, by the way, props to people too. Megan had a great live stream today earlier. Had around 5,000 people in it. So that was great. I hope more people subscribe to her channel. With live streams, you don't build a lot of channel people. In fact, if you live stream a long time with no videos, you start losing. Like for me, I lose subscribers after a little while. I lose. When you stick to one thing, you don't chase topics. We were talking about one other thing that I want to bring up today too, is the Diddy litigation, because there was a question asked about that. Now, the Diddy litigation is absolutely insane. I don't know how many of you have kept up with that, but you know, that first lawsuit that he settled, if you haven't looked at that, I actually talked about that and covered it. This is before all the federal stuff broke out or anything. But that first lawsuit, it not only had allegations that attached to a lot of the stuff you see now with his freaking parties, let's say, but there also talks about the build to power, as it were. You know, his fights with Death Row Records, and some of that is nuts. Blowing up a car. I mean, like it is crazy. There's that was part of that, and it's kind of been overshadowed lately. There were 3 people, as far as Tupac Shakur and that murder is terrible business. But as far as that is concerned, you had there were 3 people that were allegedly responsible, and there was 1 person that was being finally, after an insane amount of time, they were talking about bringing some charges finally, and that person came out and was talking about their connection to P. Diddy, and they said that he had offered and not paid. He had reneged on this, but that he had offered $1 million for them to go out and do the deed. And he went through a lot of other allegations too. And a lot of that stuff is being overshadowed because of what's come up in the federal lawsuit. Now, what's really crazy about the federal lawsuit, you notice right now you have a lot of Hollywood celebrities that are locking down their profiles, that are deleting everything they have ever said on social media, and there are a lot of names that are coming up attached to P. Diddy. Now, some of those names, there's a case out there that we talked about at one time. It dealt with a Malaysian, I'm going to call it a scam, that was over $4 billion. It had ties to all of these celebrities, including like the Wolf of Wall Street. That movie was made with some of that funding. Leonardo DiCaprio testified in it. And a lot of the information in there, if you look at some of the parties that are being discussed, I think that should be discussed yet again. Because, it brings up a lot of names that are doing a lot of damage control right now that are attached to the P. Diddy stuff. And that scandal, we got barely any coverage because ultimately it looked bad politically. It looked bad politically for everybody. And that kind of shut it down. You have Leonardo DiCaprio testify in something, and yet it barely makes waves. I mean, that's nuts, right? But I think a lot of that stuff, like I said, if you look at the parties that are discussed and more, I bet you, like the overlap in certain items looks like it very much overlaps with some of the P. Diddy stuff. And I think that would be a very fascinating discussion. But yeah, as far as the P. Diddy insanity, when you cover that, the one thing with it being so big in the press, like YouTube refers to this model as, they call something, trusted sources. So when the media is covering something that heavily, you find very few YouTubers talking about it. In fact, if you do a search, notice all of the sources that come up on it, not the people you follow. Go in and under an anonymous filter, search P. Diddy on YouTube. on social media and see who you get referred to. You're not going to get referred to YouTubers and stuff. You're going to get referred to mainstream media. With that, with trial, as that stuff comes up, yeah, we'll discuss more on it. But some of it, unfortunately, like you essentially live under a shadow ban, as it were. And that is really unfortunate, because I believe with the media, I don't think this is conspiratorial at all. I believe that media and giant corporations, businesses, they protect people that they're involved with. That's why we don't have client lists for some of these monsters that come out. They protect themselves and their interests. If there's going to be discussions about it, discussions will happen when it's big enough that it's like a free-for-all. And also in the aftermath, you'll have a lot of threads talked about. But yeah, it's a terrible situation. And that guy is guilty. I can't say he's guilty of everything that's been said. I don't know. But he's definitely guilty. 100%. There's video evidence of him doing certain things. There's video evidence of him harming someone. And there's other video evidence out there too. And you've had people in those rap communities forever. Like Cat Williams. Man, some of the stuff he talked about before this ever popped up. 50 Cent. And I mean, there's a lot more. But those two especially, they've... They talked about P. Diddy and just the insanity. And people always treated like Cat Williams like he was crazy. You know, because he made some allegations about how to be successful in Hollywood. You have to do horrible things. And like I said, people treated him like he was a nut for a while. Like how that can't be true. And then it turned out, yeah, a lot of the stuff that he was alleging, it definitely has a factual basis. So if you're ever curious, you should look up what Cat Williams has said about P. Diddy. Look at not just what he's saying there, but how Hollywood works. I mean, that's just... I mean, the level of that case, though, that case... For somebody to operate at that level, they're not just operating with other big names. They have to be operating with protection. Like there are others that definitely know what's going on. I'm not just talking about, again, like actors or Hollywood celebs or singers. I'm talking about people with real positions of power because they benefit from it. You know, we're no longer talking about fights back and forth with East and West Coast rappers. We're talking about abuse of thousands and thousands of people. And you well know. Oh, it's just terrible stuff, though. Was any Obama tied? Here's an interesting thing. Again, I know people get so pissed off when you bring up politics. But this was testified, so in the big Malaysian scam I was discussing, again, $4 billion worth. Leonardo DiCaprio, he talked to the FBI. This is a matter of fact, okay? This is not conspiracy or anything. This is true. He talked to, the FBI talked to Leonardo DiCaprio, and they were talking about the Wolf of Wall Street. Well, this guy had this scammer had put, I think it was $100 million behind that movie. You know, that's how it got made. It got made by this guy who, it wasn't just a Malaysian scammer, but also some of the people that were working with that. There was a Chinese spy involved, just crazy stuff. And they were talking about, at that time, they were talking about the Obama re-election campaign. And I don't know if you all know who Praz from the Fugees is. You know, he was indicted in this case. You can look it up. You can find the whole case. Look up Praz. But in the Praz case, he was a middleman for funds that were coming in from this guy who wasn't supposed to be able to donate money. And he was donating to that campaign. And it's just crazy stuff. And like I said, that's not a matter of conspiracy or politics.
Do you want this?
Yeah, is that a price checker?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, here, I'll keep it here.
It's a toy. coffee.
Yeah, I like it. All right.
You keep it.
Okay, I'll keep it down here. I'll be done in 5 minutes, okay?
Do you want your lines?
My lines?
Yeah. So
Oh, like a tattoo?
Well,
Maybe. We'll talk about more tattoo later, okay?
I can't wait for the tattoo. Sissy put a bug on her head with his
Did you tattoo her with a bug?
No, Sissy did.
Oh, she did? Okay. All right.
What are you doing?
I'm telling people about something. I'm wrapping up my live stream.
Okay, when's you done?
Yeah, I'll be done in a minute. Yeah, let me see if I missed anything here. Yeah, talking about this craziness. Ugh. Clear as mud. Thanks for no statement attached. I think that's funny. But plenty of statement there. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's funny. Let me see. Suzanne, thanks for the 10 there. Apparently filed another motion to dismiss. Good luck with that, juicy doocy. Yeah, you never know what a court is going to say either with any type of motion. Like, you have no idea what a court might actually decide. So I can't say with certainty. We talk about the merits of a case, and I believe there are merits within a case. Having said that, we've seen judges, and I mean, again, you saw like Thomas's. You saw how that played out. So a lot of stuff is not just what the factual merits are, but it's also in ultimately who's looking at said merits. So I think, again, if they filed another motion to dismiss, hey, good luck with that. They've already made discussions about again. I just read that thing to you that talked about talked about some of those allegations, and some of those allegations are some bad news stuff. And apparently the person that made recommendations found those alarming. I'm glad they did, by the way, because they are alarming. They are the one thing I've focused on for a long time. I had people write me and be like, why focus on those so much? I was like, are you kidding me? Because those are terrible. Those are absolutely terrible. Travis, thanks for the 2 there. Don't mess around with the law. I learned my lesson. Indeed, you don't want to mess around with Ellie. You don't want to invite law enforcement into your life. Period. And the positive thing, like for Travis here, and for anybody else, you can turn your lives around. The problem with like this case and many other things is that people want to blame all of their insanity on someone else, and that's unfortunate. Like for yourself, you're a positive story, a great one, And also, you noted that accusation you killed. I've seen it. Yes, indeed. I actually it can also ruin your life. So there was a guy going through a divorce in one of the counties that I lived in. And when he was going through this divorce, his soon-to-be ex, she was having an affair with a law enforcement officer. Okay, she made accusations about her husband, and they had one child, a daughter, and she made accusations about him. Those accusations, without any substantiation whatsoever, they ended up putting him in jail for quite a while until it came out that there was proof that he did not do this stuff. But by then, he had lost his home, he had lost his kids, and nothing ever happened. Even though all these terrible things happened, there was no repercussion, no ramification for the person who ruined his life. I saw that play out. Like, the guy was the type of person that was nice to everyone. You've met those people that are really, like, good with kids. Like, not inappropriate, but they're just good. They're nice to everybody. And they're nice to kids and everything else. He was that kind of person. Like a decent human being. And that decency was used to ruin this guy's life. And there was a real fear that it wouldn't just ruin him, like reputationally and stuff, but it might actually end his life too. And I remember watching that play out, and how sad and horrifying that was. And ultimately, like I said, it was all false. But at the end of the day, it ruined his life. Like, he's still almost unemployable, because when people bring that stuff up, that's the first thing they talk about. Even though, you know, he didn't get out because of serving a sentence. He got out finally because there was evidence that it was all a lie. Because the accusations, he finally was able to get a court to look at the allegations versus physical proof, and to be like, and the child got old enough to talk about how that wasn't true too. But the point in that is to say those type of allegations, especially, those are the type of things that people react emotionally to. Even the court systems react more emotionally to sometimes. They don't react in best interest, and they could ruin you. So in Germany, when that's discussed and somebody makes a recommendation saying, yeah, these are very serious. Yes, indeed. That is some real serious stuff. And there have been some huge financial hits because people have done that in the past. So as far as that's very real. And it can be very damaging. And I don't think that people really understand just how big of a deal those specific elements on their own are. But they may find out. Now, Sue, thanks for the 5. Talking about Diddy. Diddy's been out in the open for years in everyone's faces. He's not the only one out there, people. That was weird. Look, there's 2 of me. Did you see that? Yeah, apparently talking about real stuff sometimes causes you problems. Did you see that? You notice there were 2 of me? That's because somehow, for some reason, I just got popped off there for a minute. So when I went silent, I didn't really go silent. Did you see that? There were the Umbrella Twins. The Umbrella Twins were back. It was weird, though. Now I got knocked off there. Lovely stuff. And you notice that didn't have anything to do with anything. I wasn't hit on my stream or anything. It's talking about the it's the type of material you cover. It's like don't talk about that. And that's like, yeah, you've got to. You actually do. Ugh. Man, how are you doing tonight? Dale, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Dale? I'm doing good, actually. I'm doing very well, to be honest. Having a good day. Just chilling, relaxing a little bit. Talking about some craziness. But yeah, that Diddy stuff. I was saying on that, at the end of that. Yeah, there's a... You know, the thing you never find out about these folks is you never find out, you know, when they talk about their parties or clients or whatever, depending on other people. You know, so you never find out who those folks are. That should alarm everyone. And I think it does. Shenanigans, thanks. If I'm so glad Jeremy has legal support outside of that crazy Levy County. Love your channel, Tug. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm glad that he... I hate it for him because he has so much tied into Levy County. Like I said, it really disturbed me at one time because I was sitting down and I was thinking about how... I asked myself, and I believe I mentioned this to Megan too. I said, you know, man, he just needs to leave. Like, this is terrible. And the more I thought about that statement, the more that really disturbed me. Because can you imagine, like for yourself, you invest money, time, and reputation, all of that, into this thing that you're building. And by all accounts, I mean, if you look at what he's built up, I mean, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty dang impressive. He didn't build that on the back, like, again, like with the thumbnail lawsuit and some of the stuff it suggests, this idea that he built it on the backs of, you know, like he needed these people. No. He was very successful without that. That insanity is getting more eyes on it. And he may pick up subscribers attached to that. But you know, it reminds me of people watching a train wreck. You know, when you see a car crash or a train wreck, people will tune in. And more people, they tune in to just like read some of the comments sometimes. They're absolutely crazy. And again, people are allowed to have their opinions on stuff. But again, this isn't talking about, like I said, they're not insulting things. Like, haha, look at this flame war. Like, look at some of the things that have been claimed. And there are people out there that keep saying that they're going to drop an absolute bombshell on Jeremy. Like, they keep talking about it. They keep talking about how there will be no coming back. They're going to ruin him. Like, that's wild. And I mean, it looks like people opening themselves up for some serious issues. You know, dropping bombshells isn't a problem either. I like to drop bombshells. It's just you're like, oh, this will ruin them. This will destroy them. They'll destroy what? Like, why would you even tie those statements to your name? But there are a lot of people that they don't seem to understand how, for people that spend a lot of time around lawyers and people that make threats under the law and stuff, there are a lot of people that don't seem to understand, like, the line they're walking. And, in my opinion, crossing multiple times. I mean, I think we will see more litigation. I'm not sure again, I have not asked Jeremy this because I don't really want to know right now. I mean, he's mentioned lawsuits, but I've not followed up on that with him. Again, it's not like we have chats or anything, you know, outside of this. If he's come on, like when we get to a certain point, I would like to talk to him and see exactly what's going on with certain things. But I think there are certain people that have opened themselves up for lawsuits that he's said publicly that would be coming. You know, they've given it, I even think that sometimes that scares them because they spend a lot of time trying to deny the actions that are there. You know, so I didn't do that. Oh, I didn't actually cause that. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that'll be interesting. Because it's not, again, talking about a case. They've gone farther than talking about a case or talking about items that have happened in the real world. I mean, again, they've attached motive. They've attached a motive to destroy, and it's crazy to watch. I remember there was another YouTuber that they got in trouble for doing stuff like that. That's a different lighter. Listen to this thing. This thing sounds like a jet engine. Listen to it. That's another big lighter. I was trying it out real quick. Somebody gave it to me. But I remember another YouTuber that was doing things like that. And they not only got themselves in trouble, but they ended up getting themselves into some big legal trouble too. Like already, some of those channels have crossed lines that TOS-wise that would get you shut down. The doxing, some of the allegations that they've made, they weren't smart enough not to... there's certain things that you probably shouldn't say online. And they've engaged in those. Those are the kind of things that will get your channel shut down. And I'm not saying that to shut anyone down either. It's like... It's just like, holy shit. Like, how dumb could you be? But they prove repeatedly that, through action, like, I can't. Some of the stupid they've involved themselves in. Like I said, I expect there to be more litigation. Because of bringing this up too. So as far as my, like I was talking about my wife and some stuff that had been going on there, with all of that, there were people that tried to make contact with her. I found that out from, not from her, but I found this out. After I'd mentioned again, don't be making contact, don't be bothering, don't be trying to throw somebody's sobriety off. Apparently, and I'm not saying those main people there on channels. I'm just saying because of all that stupid bullshit. Because people looking for an aha, we're going to go after that umbrella guy. People try to make contact with her. It's just like, really? But they don't care. It's just so much crazy. They're so desperate looking for ways to, again, not just to go after, because it's not, you notice it's not just aimed at like a Jeremy Hale. Like, I think the Patty stuff really showcased very clearly how anybody, or the Lloyd stuff, how anybody that is so much as talked about these folks, how they basically have a crosshair put on them. And I mean, that's crazy, talking about digging into the past of like a Lloyd, or digging into the past, hoping to find something for Patty. And with the Patty stuff, they went well beyond like that kind of stuff. That was definitely a way to get sued. Because with her, they didn't even bother to find out, like we talked yesterday. They didn't even bother to find out if Patty, by the way, is one of the three people where John Cook, he allegedly pulled a firearm on. And after she started talking about stuff, they didn't even bother to find out, like, in the past, with articles or allegations that she'd supposedly withheld $35,000 in items. They never even bothered to find out who that person was, even though their name was easily searched and all the insanity and controversy around that person. They never bothered to find out the outcome, what had happened with that it had been dismissed, that none of that had been followed through. They were just random allegations. But they pointed not just at them, but they pointed at, again, what she had called her quote-unquote bonus dad, noting that, her parents had died, had passed away, and that she luckily had a positive influence in her life. And that person had their life and income targeted too. I mean, it's like, at what line? But like I said, I thought it was madness. And I'm not surprised by a lot of stuff that stupid people do. Like, again, people trying to reach out and with all that stuff, trying to make contact. Again, hoping for some gotcha on myself. And I was just like, when I talked about that publicly, that wasn't something I was going to talk about either. But when I talked about it publicly, to basically try to head off stupid and to really not make people target her or anyone else, in that mess. I had mentioned the fact that, again, a year of sobriety, trying to get a life together, and all that stuff could derail. But mofos didn't care. They didn't care at all. They hoped they would find, they'd find something to point my way. That's just is so pathetic. But it's so crazy. Again, because you're no longer talking about a case. You're no longer even talking about people that are around that person. Now it's taking aim at folks like Megan Fox, people like myself, suing people like DUI guy. I mean, what's up with that? It's just crazy, isn't it? This story's going to get nuttier. Much nuttier. Just one person's opinion. Thanks for the two there. Hey, Tug, from Megan's home state of New York. I appreciate you, by the way. You know, thank you. Yeah. The one thing I will say with the cases, I had, until the really Laura Owens and this, I had not really streamed with Megan Fox before. And that's good because I consider Megan like a friend. You know, we goof off. We talk about stupid stuff that happens in cases. And also in that, I've been able to find like the level of investigative journalism that actually does happen is just, it's wild. Like when you see somebody, you know, going in, trying to find out stuff. And you know what's crazy is like the hate channels brought up folks like Patty, for example. Oh, people should look into Patty. Well, when sometimes people do look at who's talking. I'm not talking about trying to look at them and ruin them, just to see, you know, especially after all that West mess, like to see what's going on. And you find out stuff, but you know that that's not the kind of stuff you dump publicly. Like her tragedy and the ugly that's happened to her in the past, that has nothing to do with what we're discussing there. And like I said, Megan does a good job of finding things in researching. But it's just crazy. Anyway, I've just been talking for a bit. I appreciate y'all. I think I'm going to call it a day. Tomorrow, I don't know what we'll cover. I don't know what we'll do tomorrow. Sunday, I'm going to catch up one of two cases probably. I'm either going to talk about the newest Ricada thing, or I'm going to talk about Laura Owens. I think I might want to talk about Laura Owens' autistic thing where she tries to blame autism. But anyway, I'm going to jump off. I got a kid later coming. I appreciate you folks. We'll see you.